From Cyclone Stadium, welcome to tonight's broadcast of high school football as the Cyclones play host to the Chancellor Chargers, and the Culper Media Network is proud to bring you all the exciting action. Well, I'm Mark O'Connell, joined as always by Steve Peacock. And Steve, this is our first visit to Cyclone Stadium this season, and a couple of odd things have happened along the way, namely Eastern View has witnessed two cancellations in its schedule. First it was Liberty, last week was Brook Point, and the culprit both times was COVID. But from talking to the coach and seeing everything laying out tonight, it looks like we got a winner. We're going to have a football game.
Well, I know Chancellor's dying to play because they've had two games, I think, themselves that had been canceled, like you said, and so does Eastern View. Last time we saw the Cyclones was in a blowout win against Culpeper. And by the way, Culpeper's got Caroline tonight at home. So really, it's a big district game for Eastern View. I think it sets the tone early because King George, which knocked off Louisa last week, and that's not hard. That's not easy to do down the jungle. And they're going to probably reign supreme right now in the district. But I think Eastern View is going to have a say about it.
Eastern View and King George both undefeated this year, Steve. Of course, it's still early on, but I don't know about you, but I think Chancellor's kind of a tough team as an opponent to gauge tonight because they joined the fray so late in the season. They just had their first and only game last week against Riverbend,
right,
and they took it on the chin. So to me, it's hard to gauge, where they are considering they've only had one game.
I know, and that's good. That's the whole dynamic of tonight is going to be is, hey, how is Chancellor going to perform with their second game after getting throttled by Riverbend, and how is Eastern View first home game for them this season and coming off. They really wanted to play Brook Point last week, so they didn't get to play, so they're going to have a lot of pent-up energy too. I think whoever established their offense in the first quarter, really first half, will win this game.
And I don't know about you, Steve, I got a feeling that Chancellor's going to have pretty good team speed. We're looking at their lineup and reading some of the things about them.
They got some speed, and they've got a good experienced quarterback from what I understand too. Eastern View, this is going to be a pushover. So what they're going to have to do is play smart, and as I always like to say, how Hughesby goes, Eastern View goes.
Well said. Steve, looking forward to calling the game with you tonight, and happy to be here on behalf of the Culper Media Network. Beautiful night for football. It was a beautiful day for a whole lot of things out there, and I know Coach Lowry is grateful to know that these two teams will actually be going at it tonight. Nobody's going home early.
That's true.
All right, we'll take a break, come back for the opening kickoff to start things tonight between your host Cyclones and the visiting Chargers of Chancellor. Keep it right here. You're watching Cyclones Football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between, you'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Beautiful night for football here at Cyclone Stadium as you're witnessing here the team captains from both teams. That's for Eastern View, left to right, Caden Hughesby, Braden Walker, Brett Clatterball. Opposite them, of course, Chancellor's team captains. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock. Johnny Krawchuk behind the camera tonight here at Cyclone Stadium. Battlefield District matchup between these two teams. Steve, we talked in our pregame about how Eastern View had two games that were either postponed or canceled, and Chancellor, a late entry into the fray this season, played their first game last week against Riverbend, so it's sort of hard to gauge where they are as a team.
Yeah, it is, Mark, and that's a fair assessment because we really haven't seen what Chancellor can do. They look like they got some size, but they've always had some athletic ability, especially at the quarterback. But they're going to run a completely different offense than what's been run before. Of course, those are during the Bob Oliver years, and I know he passed away about almost a year ago, and that was a big loss to the program. He had retired. But the big thing is now is what is Chancellor going to run and how they're going to do tonight in offense.
So Eastern View won the toss, opt to defer. Chancellor will receive to get things going here tonight. Really good to be with you all, and I hope you'll enjoy the broadcast. It's, like we say, a beautiful night for football. And I know Coach Brian Lowry, Steve, is sort of a little anxious about this one. You think it had 2 cancellations. One was sort of at that last-minute moment last week against Brook Point, and so you probably come into the week a little bit on pins and needles, wondering just how things are going to go this coming Friday night. But right now, looks like we're going to have a football game, and we expect a pretty good game at that.
Yeah, I do too, Mark. I think that Chancellor's going to put up a stiffer test than what they showed last week against Riverbend. But and then I think Eastern View, I mean, they want to come in here and put a win. They didn't get to play last week, and they want to set the, they want to take notice of the rest of the district, take notice of them, that they're not going to be, the defending champs aren't going away for nothing.
Well, Jonathan Bales handles the kicking duties for the Cyclones, and he'll tee it up here in just a moment. He'll be kicking off. Your return men, hoping to get their hands on the football, will include Quan Johnson, wears jersey number 1, and Bryson Edwards, jersey number 2. We'll also probably see Michael Matthews Canty, who wears jersey number 5. If not on the kickoff returns, likely on punt returns tonight. So Chancellor 0-1, as Steve pointed out. They lost to Riverbend last week. Eastern View just 2-0, Steve, because of the 2 cancellations. And I think the last time they were in action, it was here in a come-from-behind win over Stafford.
It was. I mean, Stafford, has not won a game so far this season either, and they gave everything. Eastern View had their hands full with them.
How good do you think King George is? I know that King George was one of the teams that beat Eastern View in this past spring during the abbreviated season. Did they reload? What exactly did they do over there, King George?
Well, they had to replace their quarterback, who was mainly a passing quarterback. Now they got a dual threat quarterback, and they still got those 2 sophomores, 6-foot receivers that already Virginia Tech, and a lot of other schools have offered them full rides right now, a scholarship.
Well, that's really saying something. Here's Jonathan Bales approaching his kick, end over end, not deep. This is going to be fielded near the 20-yard line by Bryson Edwards. He breaks through the pack. He's got a seam out there and still on his feet as Bryson Edwards takes it all the way down to the Eastern View 30-yard line. What a return and a special teams play there to give Chancellor an opening lift here, Steve.
Well, if we're worried about Chancellor, how they're going to come out tonight, they just showed you, Mark, right there with that kickoff return. And again, it was poor tackling by Eastern View with the arm tackles. They're going to have to work a little bit better on the special teams on that and stay in your lanes more, because if it wasn't for the kicker, to slow him up enough for the pursuit to catch up, he would have been in the end zone.
All right, so Chancellor will start on offense. Outstanding field position to open the game here tonight at Cyclone Stadium, as Chancellor will start on the Eastern View 31. And your quarterback is Javante Mickens. And the handoff there was to number 15, Tyshawn Wilson. And he picked up a yard on the play, brings up 2nd and 9.
Again, Mark, defensively, what Eastern View's got to do is they got to slow down at least that running attack, and but don't fall for the passing, the fake.
Mickens handing off again, and a nice tackle made by, would you believe, Brett Clatterball. There he is, number 34. What a sensational player he is as a freshman. One of the assistant coaches told me after 2 games he had 44 tackles. Are you kidding me?
I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. So loss of a yard on the play brings up 3rd down, and a long 10, actually 3rd and 11. Let's see where they've got it spotted, Steve. Looks like it's at the 32. So it's 3rd down, and we'll call it 11. Javante Mickens is your quarterback, they're number 3. Quick strike near side to the receiver. This is Matthews Canty, and Brett Clatterball likely just saved a touchdown as he tackled him at the 10-yard line. That'll be enough for a 1st down, and Chancellor will see the movement of the sticks for a new set of downs.
And Mark, let me tell you right there, that should have been stopped, right? Where, again, you cannot reach out and try to tackle the receivers or these big backs with the arm. You're going to have to man up on them. Good passing combination right there by Chancellor.
First and goal now, Chargers from the 7-yard line. Their opening drive, Mickens handing off. Here's your running back. He got away from two tacklers, lowers his shoulder, and looks like he's in the end zone. Let's check the signal there. It was the running back, number 15, Tyshawn Wilson. Looks like he may have stopped him just shy of that goal line.
It looks like it is, Mark. Who's going to mark him in just, right at the half-yard line. But again, look at that Chancellor offensive line. They got a lot of beef up front.
But just looking at that right side there, that right guard and right tackle, your center, left guard, all good size. Left tackle, a little different. Mickens trying to sneak it in there. He won't make it as Clatterball and Braden Walker and number 24, Jaden Williams, combining for the Cyclone tackle. How huge would it be, Steve, if they can get a stop here to deny them 6 points?
It would be huge, Mark. We got to let number 63, Caleb Quinn, and Braden Walker up front. Got to start, to dominate.
Third and goal now from the 1-yard line. Opening drive for Chancellor. They started with excellent field position. Here's Mickens handing off. Wilson, the ball carrier. And it looks like the ball is loose, and we got a whistle for stoppage. Coming away with it was Connor Weeks. He wanted to go the other way, and the official said, no, we're bringing it back. So now we've got fourth down and goal. So here the Eastern View defense has obviously stiffened for the team, Steve.
Well, they've done a lot better than the first two plays. They came out and said, hey, we're not going to get knocked in the mouth, but they're going to have to come up right big right here.
Tyshawn Wilson, number 15, has really carried the bulk of the load here in this opening drive. And now Bryson Edwards is back there with Mickens and Wilson. Clatterball on the move, zeroing in. Braden Walker wraps up Edwards, and they stop. The Chancellor a threat here, and we were just talking about that's 4 straight downs from about the 1-yard line. They were able to stop them, Steve.
Braden Walker, he did the job right there, stuffed him in the hole, and then Clatterball and number 63 for Caleb Quinn. They came in and finished him off, and now Eastern View offense right here, but they got the ball, but they're going to be deep in their own territory, so they can't have a mistake right here.
Looks like they're going to mark it at the 2. That drive took almost 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and Chancellor comes away with nothing. Caden Huseby is going to start out under center. Rack Lawson, the ball carrier, and forward progress, falls forward across that 5-yard line to the 6. Actually, the ball carrier was number 24, Jaden Williams for Eastern View. Give him a little breathing room there.
And, Mark, I like the call under center, too, for the quarterback, handing off to the running back right there. Because, shotgun, you don't want the ball to get hiked over his head or dropped in the end zone. So that was a good call right there. Now see what Huseby's going to do here. Still under center.
Still under center with Jaden Williams behind him. Williams gets the call again. He runs into a horde of Chancellor defenders. Forward progress will get him out to about the 7, maybe the 8-yard line, depending on the spot. Going to bring up third down here. Of course, we mentioned we're live this year, and our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556.
Mark, so we got who's number 55?
55 for Eastern View?
Yep, he's the outside right tackle, left tackle, right tackle, left tackle.
I'll have to check that. Huseby, play action, keeps it, first down, and more across the 20, and then knocked out of bounds near the 25-yard line. What a nice play that was, because he really sold the defense on what looked like the handoff to Williams. And he faked it, kept it, nice yardage, and now Eastern View has some breathing room out there and a new set of downs.
And Mark, he got a good block we're looking for number 55, he got a good block. And right there at that left tackle spot, they was able for Huseby to come right around that end and pick up big yardage. Good first down, good play.
Yeah, I'll get that name momentarily when we can. Let's check the spot. They have it now at the 27-yard line. Pick up a 20 yards and the first down by Caden Huseby. I think Williams remains the ball carrier. or the running back, he gets the call. Chancellor showed pressure. They came toward him, and then just good second effort, powering his way to the 30-yard line was Williams. Bring up 2nd down and 7 here in just a moment.
Mark, let's go ahead with Daytrez Gahagan, number 54 in their block, and number 63, Caleb Quinn on offense. And we've got number 50, Braden Walker up front. And Clatterball's now checked in, number 34. He'll go from his tight end spot. And 56 is Hunter Kurtz.
All right, 2nd down and 7. Cyclones from the 30-yard line. Hughesby in the gun. That's Williams alongside him. 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right with 1 in the slot. Hughesby now looks to the sidelines for a little instructions in that play clock, but be careful. Looks like Eastern View may have to call a timeout, and they do. Well, our timeout sponsor this year is CFC Farm and Home Center. The service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. Well, this broadcast also brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive is a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 547-3673. Well, Steve, what do you think so far as Eastern View is concerned? I like the way that even though the special teams gave up that long kickoff return, the defense really did rise to the occasion. And now, to me, that good play call on that 3rd down really gave the Cyclones some breathing room.
It did, Mark. And again, the defense bailed out the special teams, and the special teams is probably going to thank you.
Yeah.
And really bailed them out all the way, the whole team, with that defensive stand with Chancellor knocking on the door from the 1-yard line.
Right. Instead of facing the deficit, they're still even. Hughesby on the option. Now he's going to throw downfield. Got a receiver, and it's dropped. Let's see if he held onto it long enough. If he did, the fumble recovery by Clatterball, but they say it's an incomplete pass. Well, it was intended for number 3, Connor Weeks, and it looked like he had it and just simply dropped it.
He had it, and it just wasn't able to corral it. Again, you got to have it's got to be a completed action: catch, step, run. And I think he got hit right about when he's getting ready to run and knocked the ball loose.
All right, so now this is a 3rd and 7 and a second 3rd down situation for the Cyclones, Steve, in this drive. They're first. So let's see what Caden Hughesby, and the offense dials up here. He's got Williams to his right. Here's Hughesby. He's going to throw. Near side, got a receiver, and this one now broken up. Nice defensive play made out there. The intended receiver was Darian Cook, rather, and Chancellor, defensive back, makes the play to bring up a 4th down. And we'll see the punt team and Jonathan Bales for Eastern View.
Mark, those should have been 2 balls, should have been caught. Each one of those passes, 2nd and 3rd down, should have been caught. And again, that's just going to, just shake it off, come on back, and we'll get a regroup. But those receivers got to look that ball in and make sure they catch it before they take off.
Eastern View will look for a good punt here from Jonathan Bales, who stands near his 20-yard line. That's where he kicks from. Michael Matthews Canty will watch this one roll and take somewhat of a Cyclone roll as they down it at the Chancellor 35-yard line. So we're scoreless here in the first quarter. At the midway mark, a little pass it actually, 5:58 to play. And Chancellor will go on offense for the 2nd time tonight. They that last drive, outstanding field position thanks to the special teams play, but they weren't able to capitalize. And they still have good field position, but the defense of Eastern View won't start out on its heels.
No, you're right. And now see what defensively how they can stop Chancellor's attack right here in midfield, limit him to 3 and out.
Remember, the quarterback is Javante Mickens, number 3. And this is Bryson Edwards. He goes off tackle. He broke a couple of tackles, and he picks up good yardage out to the 45. It's going to, or near the 45, be very close to a Chancellor 1st down.
And number 2's quick. He's showing he's got some quick moves right there. And again, but
how did he do last week against Riverbend, Steve? Bryson Edwards, 22 carries,
92 yards.
92 yards, and he's at the tailback back there behind the quarterback, Javante Mickens. 2nd down. Edwards again the call. They do a good job this time to the Cyclones. Williams and number 21 for Eastern View, Steve. That's Jayce and Spencer combined for the tackle. Is going to bring up Looks like he got enough for a first down. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
they did.
Only had to pick up about a yard, and he did.
Well, now it looks like now that Chancellor's kind of looking to run off that right tackle, they've spotted something that they can get some yardage on, and Eastern View needs to make a little bit shift defensively to counteract that.
Back to
There you
Edwards. Nope. They fake it to him. Mickens keeps it. Got into the open field, crossed midfield into Eastern View territory, down to about the 46-yard line. That's a pickup of 11 yards for this Chancellor quarterback. And pretty good play action on the play. I know he had me fooled. I thought Edwards was going to be your ball carrier, and Eastern View may have thought that as well.
They did, Mark, and they didn't watch football, and you got to give that quarterback for Chancellor credit. He held on, at the last possible moment, and he pulled it out of number 2 and took off and picked up big yardage with it.
Not quite enough for a first down. He's about a yard shy, and it's second down. Cyclones with that 5-man front there. Here comes Clatterball coming in toward Mickens. He forces a fumble, and it looks like it's a fight for it, and Williams says it's going the other way. There's your man number 34 there, Brett Clatterball, who just stormed in there and made the fumble, and his teammates were all over it, and they recovered. So our first turnover of the game goes the Cyclones' way.
That was a good play, and you got to give Clatterball credit. I mean, he hammered that quarterback, and it wasn't throwing it or anything. He caught him right from behind, knocked the fumble out. Eastern View recovers. Now they got the ball back in Chancellor territory.
Right at the 43-yard line, as the Cyclones bring their offensive unit onto the field here in the first quarter for the second time. We are scoreless so far, 4:18 to play. And Caden Hughesby going to start out in the gun. Let's see who's alongside him now, Steve. I don't think it's Williams. It's a different running back. Anyway, he's going to block for Hughesby, and he's got a receiver out there who takes a hard hit out of bounds. Will they rule it a catch? The intended receiver?
No.
It is no catch. It was Jordan Colbert. The defensive backs for Chancellor coming out and making some pretty good licks.
But we got a flag anyway on the offensive line for holding. So it's going to come back and repeat first down at the spot. So,
Steve, I think that's our first penalty flag of the game.
it is.
Well, as I mark this one off, we'll tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons at 825-3530. So you know how those holding penalties are, Steve?
Yep.
They tend to be very hurtful.
They're deadly. I mean, look now, it's going to be first and, at least 25. Yep, it is.
It is first and 25. Good call. Hughesby in the gun. Got a little bit of time. Rolls to his right. Now throws behind the intended receiver. And that was intended there for number 45, Branson James. A little behind him. Second down.
And then, what's got to, the receivers got to see, when they see Hughesby rolling out there like that and somebody's chasing them, they got to come back to the football. And they might have to break out their route a little bit, but come to him, and therefore he'd be able to complete the pass. Don't wait for him to throw it, especially when he's rolling out on the throw.
All right, second down. 25 to go for the Cyclones from their own 43. 4:06 to play, first quarter. No score yet. 3-man front for Chancellor. Caden Hughesby's going to keep it. 45, lowers his shoulder, gets to the 46. That'll be a pickup of 3 yards in the play. It's going to bring up third and about 22.
Now what do you do here at third 22? I would sit there and, is Clatterball in there, or line him up at the H-back position or at a tight end and send him on a post. But that's just me.
Well, you and I have talked over the years about how much we enjoy the role of the tight end.
Yep, and there he is. He's 34 out there in that tight end position. That might be see if he can get.
He could get the call. Let's see here on 3rd and 21 they call it. Here comes pressure from Chancellor. Eastern View picks it up. Hughesby's got time. He's going to air it out for a receiver, and it looks like what a tremendous catch made by Colbert, isn't it? It is Jordan Colbert. There's your catch of the game. Tell you what, not a bad throw from Caden Hughesby.
That was a moon rocket, Mark. I didn't think that ball was ever going to come down, but Colbert made a heck of a grab. I wish that was, replay material. That's Sports Center material right there.
Yeah, that would definitely make the highlight reels. for any location.
I mean,
You were just asking, what are you going to do here on third 21 to have a big play? And you were talking about Clatterball. I think he probably served as a blocker, and Huseby, the line held up, the protection held up, and he had the time, laid it out there real nicely. And as you pointed out, Colbert, a really spectacular catch.
Yep, it was. He just ran right under it.
To the 11-yard line. Here's your running back. 10, 5, forced out of bounds inside the 5. That's Darrell Washington. So we haven't seen Rack Lawson yet. What, if anything, is up with that? Do we know?
I don't know. I think they want to see him more. He's been, playing some defense. Maybe they think he's better on that. He's a little bit banged up. We'll see.
Line of scrimmage was the 11, and then now they're going to mark it after that run just inside the 5-yard line. So we'll call it the 4, where it is 2nd down and 3. Cyclones can get a first down here in a new set of downs without having to score. And right now it's scoreless, and the Cyclones look like they're going to have a real good opportunity here if they can capitalize. And they go back to Washington. Washington's in from 4 yards out.
Mark, shut the doors, lock the windows. It's a Cyclone touchdown.
And that was Darrell Washington from 4 yards out. 6-0 our score, 2:54 to play here at Cyclone Stadium. And now on for the point after will be Jonathan Bales. Let's check the holder. I think that's DeMaio Hunter, isn't it? Or is it number 20? Yeah, it is. There, thanks, Johnny. Johnny zeroed in. That is DeMaio Hunter, the holder. Jonathan Bales. Kick is up. Kick is good. 7-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones here at Cyclone Stadium with 2:54 to play in this first quarter. Steve, let's go back over that drive. Eastern View started it on Chancellor's 43. Even though they had that penalty, they were able to overcome a 3rd and long, and what a tremendous play. I mean, really, the play on that series had to be that bomb from Caden Huseby to Jordan Cole.
It was, Mark. Like I said, that was Sports Center material. It was a good pass and good catch. And what developed up to that point was he had good blocking up front, and he was able to do almost like a little play action on it, freeze those linebackers. He saw he had a one-on-one situation and just said, my receiver's I'm going to throw it up there, and he's going to use his athleticism and go get the ball, and he did.
He sure did. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. And Copperfish and Time Market, from wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market.
And Mark, we know why we're not seeing Rock Lawson is he's out injured. He's over there, number 2, dressed in just his jersey and jeans. He's not even dressed for tonight.
Well, that explains his absence on the field, doesn't it?
Yep.
There he is, number 2, William Rack Lawson. And what they've done in his place, though, Steve, as you know, they've utilized a couple of different running backs in Williams, and this one's bobbled on the return. That's Tyshawn Wilson. And that delay means that the Cyclone kickoff team can get there in a bunch and wrap him up pretty quickly. On the return was Tyshawn Wilson, not too much, as Chancellor goes back on offense for the 3rd time here in the quarter, and they're going to start at about the 27-yard line.
It looks like we got a penalty.
And we haven't had but a couple of those so far. We had the big holding against Eastern View. We had, what else did we have? Is this the
holding?
second?
Yeah, this is the second one. This
So
is the second penalty. I don't know who is against.
So I was going to say, going back to that drive, what Eastern View was able to do with Rack Lawson out of the lineup, they have utilized the services of both Darrell Washington and Jaden Williams. So we expect to continue to call those names here tonight. We've got a personal foul being assessed against Chancellor, and I take it it's you're probably going to guess like I am as to what the cause of that was.
They're just saying hello to each other. How are you doing?
Good to be here at Cyclone Stadium, things like that.
Thanks for the hospitality.
Well, they mark it all the way back to the, 13-yard line? It is. So Chancellor, its worst field position of the night. Here is Mickens. Bryson Edwards, the ball carrier. He cannot get away from the clutches of number 24, Jaden Williams. So Williams shining right now on both sides of the football, running back and as from that linebacker's position. Our clock is running, 2:30 to play here in the first quarter. 7-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones. And you're looking at the Cyclone defensive unit. Steve, if there's anybody's number we haven't called, we can certainly try to do that as we can.
Number 44, Keegan Murphy-Brown.
All right, here is Mickens on 2nd down and 12. They fake it to Edwards. Mickens was one tackle away maybe from picking up a few more yards. But Clatterball, sure tackler, makes another stop, a solo tackle for Eastern View to stop him before he can really get going.
And Mark, Clatterball continues just to impress. Every time I see him playing, he's only a freshman. He's one of the game captains, and that's a rare feat as a freshman. So that shows you how the team has a lot of respect for him.
He's about 3rd and 16 right now, so the Chancellor's moving in reverse, which is not good for this team. They need a big play, and they find a big receiver out there, and he pulls his way just shy of the 20-yard line. It's going to be short of a first down, and on the reception was Michael Matthews Canty. Not enough for a first down, so Chancellor's punting team will come on. The punter is, let's see, Steve, I got my punter here somewhere, don't I? Let's say it was running back, punter, Freddie Shaw, number 26.
Well, Mark, on that previous play right there, though, I liked the closing speed of Eastern View in that tackle, because the cornerback, when he was playing the man up, kind of got a little out of position, thought maybe Chancellor was going to pick it up.
High snap. Shaw picks it up, and now he's going to roll it out for the safety rather than being tackled back there.
Yep.
So this will be a safety for Eastern View, and that'll make the score 9-0. And not only that, it's always a little bit of an insult to injury when you give up the safety. Then you got to kick the ball back to the team after you go them too close.
Right. Well, I guess, he didn't want to go back and try to kick it and, get it blocked and go in for a touchdown. So he said, hey, look, we're going to just go down 2 points here. And so now Eastern View out 9-0, and they get the ball back.
Don't you think that was, looking at it, probably a heads-up play by Shaw?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, he realized when it was late and he turned around, he's seeing, well, this is trying to run to get a kickoff. He's not an Australian kicker, so he's not going to be able to run and kick it. He just did the smart thing and just let it, threw it out of bounds. But here we got, again, it looks like Chancellor, they started off the game like gangbusters, and, after that big kickoff return on start the game, and then they, got marched all the way down to the 1-yard line, right inside the one. Eastern View stiffened up, and now it's been Eastern View all night long right so far in the rest of this first quarter.
Excellent point, Steve, because with that return of the kickoff, Chancellor started on offense at the Eastern View 31, moved it down to the 1-yard line, had 4 tries to get it into the end zone, and Eastern View's defense really stiffened to turn away that threat. And that might loom large in this game because they had a chance to go up early, and they came away with nothing.
They did. They came away with nothing. Maybe that demoralized them. I don't know. But again, now, and I think that supercharged Eastern View and said, hey, look, we got to quit starting out real slow like this, because I think in every game that they've played so far, they started out real slow. And Coach Landry's done a good job of, getting on them a little bit and say, hey, look, we got to go hard for the full 48 minutes.
Well, if Chancellor were to punt, I would think we'd see Freddie Shaw, number 26. If they go to, can't they also decide to use a place kick?
Yeah, they can, have a tee if they want. I think.
If that were the case, then the kicker is a fellow by the name of Aiden Buman. He's a left-footed kicker, and he's only a freshman.
I think the officials try and maybe explain rules to the Chancellor. Most people punt it.
Yeah, they do.
Because you get far more.
You get more height.
More height, give time for your team to run down and try to make the tackle. But
if you have a good punter who can keep it up there with hang time, like you say, you get your players down, and really they can't even have a call for a catch.
That's right.
But on a kickoff, that's sometimes a roll of the dice, isn't it?
You're correct.
And we've talked about it over the years. It's not as frequent at the high school level, of course, but man, when you have a good kicker, that can be a real bonus.
They got number 89.
Okay, well, you're going to like this name. Angel Villatora.
Right.
And I was talking to one of the Chancellor's coaches. Now, you're sure this is right? Villatora twice. He said yes. All right, here is Connor Weeks picking it up near the 45-yard line. Broke away from the pack, and he simply ran out of real estate as they forced him out of bounds. Chancellor territory at the 45-yard line. Pretty good return there by Connor Weeks. Outstanding field position for Eastern View as they are already up 9-0. A touchdown, an extra point, and a safety here in the first quarter. 43 seconds to play, and I'm not sure where they stand with timeouts. I think they have 2, maybe they're 3. No, I think they called once. I think they have 2.
Connor Hughes he like stopped on a dime and then turned right around and just picked up that extra yardage. Good play.
And so from the 45-yard line, Caden Hughesby will lead this team. Let's see if they can do some good clock management, push this thing down the field. Here comes Chancellor with pressure. They hand off. This is Williams, the ball carrier. Got behind the pile there and the push and picked up about 3 yards. Clock will run. We're approaching the 30-second mark here in this first quarter.
And again, Mark, that's good play called by Eastern View. Get your big guys up front, open the hole, establish that running game, keep pounding on Chancellor, and see if you keep wearing them down.
And I think Eastern View is going to be content to let this one run down, and Chancellor knows it, so both teams start to head toward their respective sidelines. Final 5 seconds are ticking off here in the first quarter. And now it is official. 1 quarter in the books here at Cyclone Stadium. Eastern View 9, Chancellor nothing. We'll take a break and come back for the start of the second quarter. Right after this, stay tuned. You're watching Cyclones Football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Welcome back to our broadcast and to the start of the second quarter. The two teams change directions with now Eastern View moving from left to right and Chancellor vice versa, right to left. And as we start the second quarter, it's 9-0 Eastern View, and the Cyclones on offense looking at 2nd and 8 from the Chancellor 43-yard line. Caden Hughesby going to fake it and going to keep it, try to get to the outside. He does get that edge, and they tackle him about a couple yards shy of that first down marker.
And one thing, that was a great run by Hughesby, but Mark, if you keep doing that, game after game, you're going to, subject your quarterback to some hits you really don't want him to take. Mm-hmm. So as the season progresses, I think Coach Landry and staff are probably going to tell them, hey, look, once you break free, you see they're going to take you down, just slide down, or if you see somebody coming in to make a jarring hit, slide down so you won't get hurt.
Chazy and Spencer in the backfield alongside Caden Hughesby in the gun. One receiver to the left, 2 to the right. Clatterball is in there. He's going out running a pattern. Hughesby going to keep it. Going to pick up first down yardage and going to be upended at the Chancellor 35-yard line. And that'll be enough for a first down. It seemed, from my perspective, he ran several yards to only pick up 3.
He did, Mark. And number 1 from Chancellor brought down number 1 for Eastern View.
Caden Hughesby tackled by his namesake, Quan Johnson.
It's a one-on-one.
What are we doing here?
Looks like a penalty here.
Yep, because Eastern View is moving backwards as they're going to mark this one off here momentarily. Let's see how big this one is. Oh, not a good one. Holding. Never serves you well, does it?
And it was on the backside after Hughesby cut back and was running across the field. Looked like, someone got a hand out or reached it out. Again, those are the kind of penalties that can drive you bonkers.
It'll be 3rd and 16 now for the Cyclones. Back on their side of midfield at the 49. Here's Hughesby. Here comes the pressure. Runs away from it. Going to keep it. Midfield. 45, 40. They spin him down inside the 40-yard line. Another penalty flag down. This one on the far side of the field. Steve, what do you think about this?
This could be defensive holding out here, Mark. We'll see what the call is. It could be a holding on Chancellor, holding one of the receivers, or illegal hands to the face. See what the call is. The hubby's point is.
Look for the man in the white hat to turn this way and tell us all about it.
It's going to be against, holding.
Well, you know, you called it, didn't you?
Yep.
It was thrown in an area where you were able to pick up on it real quickly. So is this a mark-off after the spot?
Yep.
Because Hughesby was the ball carrier.
Yep. And you mark it from where the infraction occurred. So it's an automatic. It's going to be a first down.
You know, we have found it usually takes them a while to sort it all out. If they mark it here at the 29, which they have done, that means Eastern View netted 20 yards on the play.
They did.
Because the line of scrimmage had been the Eastern View. Wait a minute, the Eastern View 49, so it was actually 30 they picked up on that. And it does move the sticks, 1st and 10 now from the 29 of Chancellor. We got movement. Somebody either the late starter and offsides. It's got to be one or the other.
Is there going to be movement? See what the.
How about Chancellor's size up front, Steve? What do you think about that?
Well, they got decent size, but they're offsides right there.
Yeah.
But again, I don't. They got some beef up front, but so does Eastern View. Eastern View's offensive line's pretty stout there, and they're being able to handle them so far in this game.
I think the number we need to identify is number 55. Neither one of us have it. All right, we'll get that for you, folks. We apologize, but we'll get that righted when we can. Here it is, 1st and 5 now from the 24, and number 24 running the ball for Eastern View is Williams. He made a nice cut. It looks like he'll have enough for first down yardage as he gets down to about the 20. We'll check it and see if that's close enough.
Williams looks like a good running back, Mark. He did, but again, well, I would say if he could run just a little bit more lower center of gravity, he wouldn't have to get, kind of hesitate and stand up and get knocked around as much.
And we've got an injured Chancellor player on the field as Williams came up just shy of that first down marker. Well, as they attend to the Chancellor player, we'll take a break and come back when the action resumes. Keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network. You're watching Cyclones Football.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. Cash Imprints, 317-1473. The Copperfish and Time Market, 825-1011. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Welcome back to our broadcast. The injured player for Chancellor able to make it to the sidelines on his own was big number 52, Omar Mitchell. And our player for Eastern View who wears jersey number 55 is Carson Murray. So 2nd and 1 here. Caden Hughesby. This is your shuttle pass to Brett Clatterball. That might have gone somewhere had Chancellor not sniffed that one out early.
They're on it real quick. They saw that probably in some film and said, hey, look, these shovel pass. But that's a safe way because if he drops, it's not a fumble.
It's an incomplete pass, right. Well, you want to see Clatterball get his share of touches, that's for sure. But he is really making a mark on defense this year, isn't he?
He sure is.
As a freshman. All right, so actually lost a yard on the play, and the line of scrimmage is to 21, and it's 3rd and 2. Weeks in motion. He gets it. There's Weeks breaking a tackle. First down yardage. And Weeks, nicely done there. Picks up the big first down for Eastern View. There he is, number 3, Connor Weeks. That was a nice play call. Here's a penalty flag coming in late, Steve. Oh, not another holding against Eastern View.
It's going to be Eastern View holding.
Is that 3 now?
It's going to be 3.
All right, as they sort this one out, we'll tell you this broadcast, we're live this year. And our live sponsor, Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. holding against Eastern View. Let's see where they mark it.
That's a big one, Mark. It's all the way back to, looks like the 35-yard line of Chancellor.
Well, when the first quarter ended, Eastern View had the ball in the Chancellor 48. We've come back for the second. We're about 3 minutes into it. And with the back and forth, the ball now ends up at the 35. And it's 3rd and 15 from that spot. Caden Hughesby got some protection. Going to air it out. This one is going to be picked off. And that's, he's going to return it from the end zone. That's Michael Matthews Canty. They'll tackle him after he crosses the 20-yard line. So Hughesby with the interception. Now both teams have a turnover in this game.
Well, Mark, but that didn't hurt really Eastern View right there. It would have been just as good as a punt.
Right.
Because what really hurt him was the penalty before that holding penalty, after they had already got first down. So, but the holding penalty took them out, and that was, that's what hurt Eastern View. So they'll have to go back and go on defense here.
All right, well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons at 825-3530. 8:53 to play, second quarter action, 9-0 Cyclones. Chancellor back on offense. This is Bryson Edwards, the ball carrier. He runs into about 7, maybe 8 of those blue jerseys out there. Doesn't go very far.
Yeah, it's just like running into a big pile of, blue jerseys, like you said, nowhere to go. And that's kudos to the defensive line of Eastern View and what they're doing. They're really playing good football, sound football up front.
Steve, whose names have we not called tonight? Look at number 32 of Eastern View. That's Landon Taylor. Who else have we?
Number 9, Xavier Terrell.
Xavier Terrell, right. 23. Do we have 20? Yeah, we have 23. That is Jaden. No, Jaden Williams. No, Trayvon Brock. My mistake. So the quarterback.
And 44, that's Keegan Murphy Brown.
I was going to say Mickens had just handed off to Bryson Edwards. Now, Edwards had a good game last week against Riverbend, but with his Eastern View, this penetration or getting up front, running backs aren't having much room to run from Chancellor.
But they also, Chancellor can throw it, so watch out for this quick, like a quick out or quick slant or even a screen.
From the 22, 3rd and 9. Mickens going to keep it all the way. Slips, makes the cut, reverses his direction. And he gets out to about the 30-yard line, pick up 7, bring up about 4th and 2. And this will be the punt team for Chancellor coming on the field.
Good stand by the defense right there. And I knew that Chancellor were going to try to, go for it on a 4th down. But however, the defense has got to be aware it's 4th and 2. Don't jump.
Exactly. And this time, Freddie Shaw, the punter, not going to be standing near his end zone either. He's going to stand inside the 20.
And I know the special teams coach is saying, watch for the different cadence.
All it takes is an offside to give you a new set of downs.
Yep.
Because it is 4th and 3. So Shaw, now we got a penalty flag. Is this going to be a delay of game?
We'll see.
Delay of game.
Yeah, it is delay of game.
All right, so that push them back 5 yards.
Yeah. So if you were thinking about going for it on 4th and 3, you might not now.
Right.
Yeah. Well, see, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. 547-3673. Now Shaw will line up closer to his 10-yard line to kick this ball away. Another penalty flag is down.
Let's see what this one is.
Well, you've had quite a variety.
Yep.
I think the ones that have hurt Eastern View, obviously, are the holding penalties.
Is this going against Eastern View?
I'm not sure, but those holding penalties have hurt them the most. Now, if this is against Eastern View, we go back to 4th and 3.
See what they're discussing. They're talking to Chancellor, so looks like it's going to be against.
Here comes the call. Dead ball. False start. All right. And now we're going to back them up, five more and make it 4th and 13. I don't think that's what the coach had designed for.
Now I would think you want to throw in your pump block right here.
Now the line of scrimmage is a 20. It's 4th and 13. And this punter, Freddie Shaw, getting ever close to that end zone again. He gets this one away. This one is going to be picked up at the 45-yard line by DeMaio Hunter. Penalty flag comes in again.
Yeah.
He takes a pretty good hit along the Chancellor sidelines. Got to help. I can't help but think, Steve, when you see a penalty flag thrown in that area, it's got to be a bad block.
It's going to be a bad block in the back, Mark. You get your helmet in front. If you don't have your helmet in front and the player's not expecting it, you're going to get called for it, and that's exactly what it is. It's going to get. This will take Eastern View back. Now we're getting into a lot of penalties, almost 70 yards penalties.
Yeah, this is where you start thinking things are a little sloppy with the frequency of that yellow flag on the field.
Yep.
It is a hold.
Block in the back. And from the spot, and then go back 15. See how far they go. All right.
Stu, we got a number change here, courtesy of Sean Somerville, who's doing a terrific job as a public address announcer. Just informed us Braden Walker, who ordinarily wears jersey number 50,
Now we're at
near jersey number 70. And that's a good thing to know.
Yep.
Line of scrimmage is going to be the 35. Still decent field position, but those penalties have hurt. All right, Williams, the ball carrier, runs into a stone wall. White jerseys. Maybe got a yard on the play. We are approaching the midway mark of this second quarter. Our score 9-0, and that is not.
They're going to say lost a yard, Mark.
Did he?
Yep. Where the spot is. Maybe
Looks like.
they're still going to keep it.
I thought Eastern View was looking for a timeout. They decided not to, and they marked it to 37. It is a yeah, it is 37. Scoreboard doesn't have that one right. 37-yard line. Hughesby, play action. Got a receiver out there. It's number 45. Crosses midfield. Lowers his shoulder. Chancellor 45. Courtesy of number 45. And that is Branson James.
That was a good pass, Mark. Easy route. James just took it from there, and he lowered his head, lowered his helmet, man. He went and he put a lick on one of those Chancellor defensive backs. Good catch, and he ran. He didn't try to. He knew he had open daylight and just run as hard as you could, and it was a good play. Good catch. Good play call.
All the way out to the 44-yard line of Chancellor. New set of downs. 1st and 10. Eastern View. Caden Hughesby now will go under center. And here is the ball carrier. And again, trying to get used to his name, Daryl Washington, because we were expecting to see Rack Lawson. Did not know he would be out of the lineup. But Daryl Washington splitting time back there with Jaden Williams. And he picked up 4 or 5 yards on 1st down, makes it 2nd and 6.
And that was good blocking up front on that left side of the O-line and the right side. And, you know, Hughesby, that just takes the pressure off Hughesby if you get the running attack going.
So Daryl Washington stays back there in the backfield. Hughesby under center. And Branson James back there as well. He's going to pick up the block for Washington. And Washington falls forward just shy of that 35-yard line. And he may be about a yard shy of a 1st down. Well, you know, this broadcast is brought to you by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints at 317-1473.
And what year is Washington? Is he a sophomore or junior?
You know, this roster I have right now, I don't have their classes. We can check with Sean there at the break when we can. Somebody's phone was ringing, Steve. Is that Hollywood calling for you?
Yeah.
Caden Hughesby rolls to his left. Got some pressure coming. Unable to get rid of it. Connor Weeks had no chance at that. And defending on the play was Mackay Conley of Chancellor. Now we'll have a 4th down. Steve, Eastern View, you go for it here, don't you?
I think you do, Mark, because what's the punt going to gain you? Unless you're very good, your punter can pin him inside.
Right.
But again, you know, it's 4th and short. But I was going to say in that previous play, Husby's got to learn when he throws it like that, just don't float it out there like that, because that's a good, against a good secondary, they'll pick that off. So now you're going to 4th and 2. Look for a hard count here by Eastern View.
Darian Cook, top of your screen. Connor Weeks there in the slot. 2 receivers to the right as well. Over the middle, they've got Weeks, and Weeks has a first down. And Weeks looking for some yards after catch. Nice job by Weeks. And that'll give Eastern View another first down.
Another first down for Eastern View, and there's no laundry on the field, so.
Uh-oh. I didn't see any laundry, but I just saw the signal from the referee, and it was a false start against Eastern View. They're going to bring it back.
Jeez.
Oh, isn't that something?
That's got to be eating away at Coach Lowry right now, because these penalties are, you know.
Yeah, because you're not going to want to see the penalties and penalty yards assessed against you when this thing is over, because you're playing well otherwise.
He's giving the official a hard time. I would too, because I think that was a ticky-tack call.
So let's check the spot. It was at the 36, I believe.
So they moved, yeah, that would be right. They moved it back to the 41 with the 5-yard penalty, and now it is 4th and 7. With 3:35 to go here in the second quarter, 9-0 Cyclones. Clock is ticking, and we've got a 4th and 7. All right, Caden Huseby and company. Let's see what they dial up here. Low snap, Huseby gets it. He's got time. He's going to air it out. We got contact. We got a receiver down. Incomplete pass and no flag. And the intended receiver was Jordan Colbert.
And the reason it says no flag, because he didn't think it was catchable. That's the only reason. Or both of them just got tangled up in the feet. And he said that's it wasn't either not a catchable ball or just they both got tangled up. It wasn't anything, anybody did. So they gave another gift to Chancellor. Coach Lowry's still giving it.
So the incomplete pass then results in the turnover on downs to Chancellor, which goes back on offense with good field position now from its own 41. But they trail 9-0. And really they've had trouble, Steve, finding some synchronicity, if you will, on offense.
They have, Mark, but it's the penalties that are doing it.
Both teams penalized. Particularly heavy here in this first half. There's Edwards. He made the first guy miss. Got across the, let's check the spot here. Looks like he picked up a couple, not much more. So, really Eastern View's defense getting to that ball pretty quickly.
And Mark, number 32, is that 32 out there or 22? I think it's.
Oh, 32. Landon Taylor.
Yep, he's
right
out there in defense.
You mentioned number 44, Keegan Murphy Brown.
Yep.
Is there anyone else's name we haven't called? Well, they gave him only a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9. Chancellor. Mickens, your quarterback. Bryson Edwards, the ball carrier. And straight ahead he goes, out to the 45. He'll pick up 3. Going to bring up 3rd down and about 5. Our clock continues to run. 2:50 to play here in this first half.
And this is where you want to see Clatterbaugh do his stuff right here.
On 3rd down, and we'll call it 6 from the 45 of Chancellor. Javante Mickens, your quarterback. He was 5 of 10 last week, 106 yards, no interceptions, and a touchdown. Bryson Edwards, the ball is loose. This one is picked up. I guess they're going to roll the ball. I'm not really sure what that was, Steve, because I thought Bryson Edwards had been the ball carrier, and then I looked this way, and the ball is over on the opposite side of the field. But it wasn't a fumble, obviously, because they would have given the ball to Eastern View.
It wasn't a fumble. They thought it might have been a lateral. But, again, good ball faking by Chancellor. They had me faked out, too. Looked like number 2 had the ball and was running to his right, and then the quarterback had it all the time. And, again, but then he got pressured in good defense by Eastern View, had to spread it out like that.
Freddie Shaw in to punt this one away, standing there his 30-yard line. Here comes the pressure. High kick this time, and a fair catch called for and taken by number 20, DeMayo Hunter. There he is.
Now, this is important, Mark. I think that you could really, I think, even cement the game away here with a score right before halftime.
Well, they've got actually pretty sufficient time, don't you think? 2 minutes, 20 seconds. I think they still have 2 timeouts, is it?
2 timeouts, and you run your 2-minute offense. Basically, you shotgun, you call 2 plays in the huddle at the same time, so you know what you're going to do on the second time.
Cyclone fans. Also, bring those t-shirts.
All right, from the 30-yard line.
Gift card for Chick-fil-A.
Caden Huseby
At the start of the third, show your Eastern View
will lead the
spirit.
team down the field. Maybe hoping for to cap a scoring drive, as you say, before this half expires. And they start out with a pass, incomplete, intended for Colbert.
Said he trapped it.
Jordan Colbert, unable to bring it in.
We don't have instant replay in good old high school, which we did.
Then we go back and you could dissect it.
Yep.
Analyze.
Exactly. I could have my magic pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And we got number 5 out there. We're having Darian Cook at one of the wide receivers.
Yep, lines up to the right, and they're going to send 2 other receivers there to the left. Clatterball's in, comes out of that backfield as a possible receiver. This one caught near side by Darian Cook, shy of the 40-yard line.
And I thought he shook number 1 from Chancellor, but Cook, number 1 for Chancellor, which is Quan Johnson, was able to bring him down, but that was a good catch by Cook because he had to go up and get it.
He did. Brings up 3rd and 2, and the clock continues to run. 1:45 to play here in the second quarter at Cyclone Stadium. Eastern View 9, Chancellor nothing. And when we start the third quarter, Eastern View will be receiving the kickoff. So, because they had won the toss and deferred, Caden Huseby gets a handle on it, and Williams spins his way across the 40 out to the 42, and that should be enough for a first down. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout taken by Eastern View. Well, you know, our timeout sponsor this year is CFC Farm and Home Center. The service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. And this broadcast brought to you in part by Copperfish and Time Market. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. All right, Steve, 1:28 to play in the second quarter. 9-0 Eastern View. They have a first down. 1:28 to play, and the ball at the 42-yard line, and they just used a timeout. I think they have 1 remaining. If you were the offensive coordinator, what would you be looking for right about now?
Well, I mean, you still got 1:28, but you want to get some big yardage in chunks here. So, the thing is, you got another timeout in your pocket. Mm-hmm. You can sit there and try something down the middle, a post pattern, somebody out in the middle, or do a rollout like Huseby's been doing. And if the pass isn't there, he can take off running and run out of bounds. Because basically, I don't know about Eastern View's field goal kicker, but I would say they'd have to get to the 25-yard line for even have a reasonable chance of a field goal.
Now that would be from the 25, 7, 32, 42-yard field goal attempt for Bales. And we've got movement up front and an encroachment there, or offsides rather, by number 25. That's Nico Heil. H-E-I-L, Nico Heil.
Well, that'll help Eastern View right there.
You get 5 yards without using a second of the clock.
And number 54 in one of the right tackle spots is for Eastern View. We haven't said his name. Detrez Gahagan.
Trez Gahagan. You're right. All right, give him 5 yards. 1st and 5 now from the 47. Caden Huseby drops back. Going to pass. Receiver near side. And he stepped out of bounds. Did number 5, Darian Cook. And that'll stop the clock, Steve.
Mark, that's a simple pattern, just like a little wheel route. He was running. And again, just Cook, saw the sticks, got right there. He was trying to break that tackle for more yardage. Mm-hmm. But another first down. And again, just keep doing that because Chancellor trying to, stop the run up front. But we've got some good, strong receivers on the outside, and Huseby's has become a problem for Chancellor. They don't know how to defend him.
All right, 1st and 10 now. Cyclones from the Charger 42. Protection holds. Huseby rolls to his right. Throwing downfield. You got a receiver out there, incomplete. Ran out of room, and then the defender, of course, Juan Johnson in pretty good position as forced that play out of bounds.
It was, Mark. Even if he caught it, it would have been out of bounds. I mean, he just ran out of real estate right there. Now, you got it. It will be second down, correct? Yep.
2nd and 10 from the 42, and didn't use much of the play clock,
No,
or the game clock, rather.
got plenty of time. Minute 17. You know what Tom Brady can do in a minute 17, so.
Yeah, those guys at that level, seems like a minute 17 is a long time.
Mahomes, 30 seconds.
Yeah. So here it is, 2nd and 10 for the Cyclones from the Chargers 42. Steve pointed out a minute 17 to play in the second quarter. Our score is 9-0. And of course the Cyclones would love to get another score before this intermission, knowing with that momentum they're going to receive the third quarter kickoff as well.
I would think a screen pass right here would eat Chancellor up.
All right, here's Hughesby. Plenty of time. And this one picked off. Yeah, but through his intended receiver, and Chancellor's Anthony Lewis comes up with the interception to stall that drive.
And Mark, right out there was number 24 for Eastern View, Jaden Williams, sitting right out there. He could have picked up 20 yards. But again, Hughesby's got to learn to look off that quarterback, and that's exactly what the coach on the sidelines talking to him. You can't lock in like that and just throw it softly. You're going to have to. You're going to have to go down through your progressions, but if you eye in and lock in on one of your receivers, the defense can read that, and that's what happened. He stepped in, interception.
All right, so Chancellor takes over at its own 21-yard line. A minute 9 to play here in the second quarter. They trailed 9-0, and that quarterback, Javante Mickens, brings them out to the line of scrimmage. Behind him is the tailback Bryson Edwards. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 3-man front now for Eastern View. Mickens, here comes the pressure. And they bury him down there at about the 10-yard line. How many Cyclones were in on the tackle? Well, 51 and 15 and 34. Let's pick up those numbers, Steve. 51 is, do you have 51?
No, I do not.
All right. We knew Clatterball was in there. And we said, was it 15, Darrell Washington?
Yep. Another missing number.
All right, we'll get that one corrected as well. Number 11 in there for Eastern View on my roster is Kevin Berg. Xavier Terrell, one of the cornerbacks, and the ball carrier here, absolutely nowhere to go. Well, the Eastern View defense, we've got a little bit of hostility brewing out there between the two teams as it's late in the first half, rather. Maybe some frustration moments.
I wouldn't want to get in an argument with big number 75 of Chancellor, would you? He's a stout young man.
He is, but initially it looked like he was having words with Brett Clatterball, and I think by the tail of the tape, this guy's bigger, but I got to go with Clatterball's athleticism. And he just really impressed me.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully nothing came of that, but that's the sort of thing that does happen in these in the heat of the moment. Timeout taken by Eastern View, their final one. And we mentioned the timeout sponsor this year is CFC Farm and Home Center. And the service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. And of course, we mentioned that we're live. It's always great to be live, Steve.
Sure
and,
is.
Our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. 25.2 seconds showing on the scoreboard clock with Chancellor in possession. And really here in this first half, they really missed a golden opportunity to start things. And then after that, they give up a touchdown and a safety. And I think that Eastern View was unable to put any more points on the board primarily because of some untimely penalties.
Correct. And Mark, I don't understand why Chancellor just doesn't take a knee here. Go in at halftime, 9-0.
Here comes Clatterball. Gets past the blocker. Got his pads on the running back, and then he got some help from his teammates. And here's a good display of sportsmanship as Chancellor's lineman helps up Williams off the turf. Final seconds are ticking down, and both teams are content to let this one expire and head to the locker rooms. And so it is in the books. First half, that is. Cyclones 9, Chargers nothing. We'll take a break, enjoy the halftime show, and then we'll come back for the start of the third quarter and the Chancellor kickoff. Stay tuned. You're watching Cyclones Football on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Stadium where it is halftime. I'm Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock, Johnny Krawchuk behind the camera as always, Nicole Wooten back in the studio presumably. Hadn't seen her for a while. I trust she's doing fine. Steve, 9-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones, and they will receive the third quarter kickoff. Your assessment of the first half from both teams' perspectives?
Well, Chancellor started out very well with a good kickoff return, drove all the ball, three carries, drove the ball all the way down to the 1 yard line, where then Eastern View's defense stiffened up, and they went for it on 4 consecutive downs and could not get it in. So kudos to the defense, and then Eastern View's offense went to work, and they were able to jump out into a score. After a couple possessions, 7-0 on a bomb from Caden Hughesby to Colbert, who made a Sports Center catch, in my opinion. And so Eastern View took that in, and then they seemed like rolling again because they stopped Chancellor on 3 downs, and Chancellor was going to have to punt from deep in zone territory. Well, the snap went through the end zone, so that was a safety, and it looks like Eastern View was going on their way. They're moving them down the field, but then the old penalty bug.
Penalty bug.
The penalty bit them hard.
Maybe a penalty plague.
Yep, because it was over, they've got over 70 yards or more in penalties. And I know that doesn't make Coach Lowry and the staff any happy with that, because they left points on the table because of those penalties. A couple of them knocked them out where they were driving pretty good. So, again, now see what they can do in the second half here to clean it up a little bit. They're up by a score 9-0. But to me, Chancellor doesn't look like anything from what they've run in the first half. Doesn't impress me how they're going to get, I don't think they have the big play capability. But I think if Eastern View can tack on another score here and then play tight defense, they'll walk out of here with a district win.
All right, Steve, well said. All right, Aiden Buman, freshman kicker. He's a left footer. Kickoff for Chancellor. And as we mentioned, Chancellor opened the season late this year. Started last week against Riverbend and lost. What was that score? 42-20. And we said coming in it was kind of hard to gauge where they were exactly. But after having seen them in the first half, they need to do some work on offense, because it's Eastern View's defense, as Connor Weeks bobbles it, picks it up inside the 10-yard line, and he's got nowhere to go. By the time you get a handle of it, he had 4 or 5 of those white jerseys all over him, and so Eastern View will take possession with less than average field position.
Right, Mark, I was going to say that's not what they wanted to do starting out, is to operate deep in their own territory and maybe give Chancellor some momentum, especially if Chancellor can stop them here on downs.
Well, I tell you what Connor Weeks did do in that first half, however, had a couple clutch catches for this team.
Right.
And some yards after catch. All right, let's see where they mark it. Well, it's going to be the 8-yard line. So worst field position of the game for Eastern View.
Well, no, they remember their 1 yard line they had in the first half. Remember?
Oh, that's right, because they had the,
They stopped them downs.
Yeah, they did. After that gallant defensive effort, they took over at about the 1 or 2, as you said. And now they go to the run, and this is Jay-Z and Spencer.
And see, Mark, that's where the running back's got to develop field of vision, learn how to cut back. Because if he had cut that back to his right, there was a Chancellor defender within 20 to 50 yards from him, because they're all piling on. And I always question, why do the running backs want to run to the big pile? Bounce out and go out and try to get your turn around the other end and pick up some big yardage.
Yeah, lost a yard on the play. 2nd and 11. Hughesby from the gun. Going to need the protection. Airs it out here. Incomplete. Had a receiver open, and he just overthrew a Darian Cook. And now we got a 3rd and long. And this can be a little bit dangerous on a 3rd down and long, based on the fact that the line of scrimmage is the 7-yard line. But if Caden Hughesby gets the protection, we know he's got some good receivers. And you talked about that bomb of a play in that first half on 3rd and long when he connected with
Colbert.
It was Jordan Colbert, yeah. It was a great pass, and I think sort of a athletic, definitely an athletic, somewhat acrobatic catch he had to make on it. All right, here it is, 3rd and 11 from the 7. Hughesby fakes it, going to keep it. Can he pick up enough for a first down? Looks like he does. And more. Well, right when I thought I was going to say he was down, those legs kept churning, and he picked up additional yards all the way out near the 30-yard line. Actually, the 28, that is a pickup of 21 yards, Steve, for Caden Huseby.
And Mark, there's where a good running style that Huseby did. He loaded, he knew, did a play fake, kind of froze the secondary a little bit, then he saw the hole open wide up. It's his call, and he took it right around that left side, picking and carrying defenders 21 yards. Great play.
Definitely. Chancellor shows pressure. They keep it on the ground. This is Williams, the ball carrier. Jaden Williams making the tackle. Justin Wright of Chancellor. And it looks like he picked up about 2 yards. Line of scrimmage was at 29. They're going to mark it to 31. Second down and 8. Third quarter action, 10:20, clock running. 9-0 in favor of the Cyclones.
And Mark, what a difference between spring and now between Huseby. When we saw him in the spring, he wasn't that decisive of a runner. He didn't look as strong. Now look at him.
And this is Huseby going to keep it all the way. On a play designed for him to run it, he's going to pick up about 5 yards. Hit pretty hard to be forced out of bounds. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Cash Imprints. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints at 317-1473.
Now see what they're going to dial up here. About 3rd and 6. Huseby's been very good with the run. Now here's where you can really stick a dagger in Chancellor with a good pass.
All right, so Huseby in the gun. 2 receivers to the right. Clatterball, your tight end, comes out. Here comes the pressure. He throws it. He's got Connor Weeks, I believe. And it is Weeks out to the 38. It's going to bring up 3rd down, it looks like, and short. Connor Weeks makes another catch. I think he had a couple in that first half.
That was a good catch by Weeks there. But again, he had a hole. He was being pressured by Chancellor on the backside. And Chancellor's looking for that little out pattern right now, and they're sending 2 DBs on it too as soon as the pass is thrown.
Huseby, Steve, going to under center here on 4th and 2. Long snap count, going to try to draw them off. If they don't, will they revert to a punt here?
No, they're going.
They don't. They're going. Oh, wow! Making penetration and a great tackle on Williams. I believe was number 23 of Chancellor, who made the initial hit. That was, let's see, Anthony Harding. There he is, number 23. Just an excellent tackle.
He was in the backfield for our offensive lineman, got out of their stance. He shot through there like a cannon.
And remember, that play was made on 4th and 2.
Right.
And now Chancellor takes over on downs at Eastern View's 35. So here's an opportunity for Chancellor if they can capitalize. And it would make me wonder what the coaching staff, what sort of adjustments they made at the intermission. I suppose we'll get a glimpse of that coming up here on this sequence. Remember, the quarterback is Javante Mickens. Behind him, Bryson Edwards. Mickens is going to throw out there in the flat, got a receiver. And he's out to the 30-yard line. He picked up 5 yards. I've got a whistle, and maybe the receiver is just a little bit shaken up out there.
Yeah, he might have a cramp, Mark. Yeah, it looks like he's got a cramp. Yeah. Suffering from some cramps, but again, right there, I think the coaching staff was thinking, look, we've been pretty much handling the Chancellor's offense all game, especially when down here they didn't go anywhere, and they thought, well, if we can't get them drawn offside, we'll hit them with a quick hitting on a running attack play. But Chancellor saw that and they snuffed it.
Yeah, and you were right about the cramps, the way they treated. That was Michael Matthews Canty. He'll go to the sideline here. He picked up 6. It's 2nd and 4. At the 30.
And Chancellor's in 4-down territory here. I don't look for them to punt if they get stopped here on 3rd down.
All right, here's Mickens handing off. Edwards. Not much doing. He had a good game last week. Chancellor says he's got a first down, but I don't think so. I think he's going to be a little short.
I think it's going to be short too. Well, he keeps inching at that.
Yeah, you look at that marker across the sideline there. It's just shy of the yard line. And you see the ball, the nose of that
Yeah.
ball, just a little shot.
Yeah.
But you're talking about this being 4-down territory too, Steve.
I do. I mean, they're down 9-0. They haven't done anything all evening on offense.
From the 31. 3rd and short. Edwards. They fake it to him. Mickens keeps it. 1st down. He'll have it as he got inside that 25-yard line.
See, they were using, that was a good play by Chancellor. They were using Eastern View's aggressiveness against him. They, thought he was going to roll out right, and he cut back to his left. And again, they thought they're also handing off, and good play there by Chancellor. But again, see if Eastern View, they can tighten up on defense. They've already proven it to us once. So
yeah, in a big way, and they did it in the early on in the game, didn't they?
Yep, and we got an injury timeout.
All right, timeout on the field. And, I was mentioning our timeout sponsor this year is CFC Farm and Home Center. The service, knowledge, and products you need for your farm, home, pets, livestock, and equine since 1932. And now you're looking at the Cyclone cheerleaders. I also want to tell you while we have the time that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Copperfish and Time Market. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between, you'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. So I wanted to look at our schedule for next week, Steve, and talk about who our 2 teams are playing. Now, we've got Eastern View playing Chancellor tonight, and Culpeper's playing against Caroline, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, hang tight. I think Culpeper certainly, and we haven't heard any scores, but I think going into that game, certainly I like their chances against Caroline, no doubt.
I do too, but you can be surprised. Caroline gave Eastern View everything they could handle last spring, so.
All right, they're saying 1st and 10 now from the 23. High snap, ball loose. Mickens gets a lucky bounce, if you will. You always look for a lucky one, and he got one, and making the tackle was Brett Clatterball. All right, so Culpeper playing Caroline tonight. No, they are.
Yeah.
They are. Next week, oh my gosh, they get King George.
Wow.
All right, let's take a look at Eastern View's schedule. Currently playing Chancellor. Next week at Caroline. Lots of long road trip.
Yep.
And but anyway, 2nd and 14 here. Mickens, Bryson Edwards going to block for him. This one nearly picked off, and that was Brett Clatterball there.
Had it in his hand, Mark. He had it. He was looking upfield.
He was.
He was caught peeking on that play. He was. He was peeking all the way.
He might have been thinking about, the possibilities.
Yep. I mean, if it had been caught, he'd been off to the races. But he just caught himself peeking a little bit, took his eye off the ball at the last second. And, let's say he's only a freshman. It's like you got to cut him a little bit of slack.
I think he's just, already has had an amazing season. Really is. Or a manster.
A manster. Randy White.
Early ages manster. Look at this right tackle for Chancellor, Steve. Quick throw out there to the far side. And the receiver, that was Michael Matthews Canty at the 25. Picked up a couple tough yards there. Going to bring up 4th and 2.
Like
4th and 12, rather.
That looked like an Eastern View Chancellor sandwich on that play. So now they're 4th down. No, they're not going to. I don't think they're going to punt it here because what's it going to get them? Nothing.
And they're not lining up for a field goal. At a college or professional level, you'd automatically think field goal will get them here. Well, here it is, 4th and 12 now for Chancellor from the Eastern View 29. Mickens going to throw. This one, penalty flag coming in, and the defender right there with him. They're going to say there was contact, and I would imagine this will work against Eastern View.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I mean, they wouldn't give it to him down here in the first half, and that was not a catchable ball either. And now they're going to give a defensive interference call on Eastern View right here because they were some pushing, and he had his head turned around.
All right, so from the line of scrimmage now they mark it off. 10 yards?
Yep. No, it's 10.
Yeah, there you go.
again, the penalties, Mark, just hurting them. You know, just at the critical juncture, they have a costly penalty, and that was a costly penalty.
Yeah, it looks like it's at the 12 or 13 from this angle. Let's call it the 12, and it's 1st and 10 for Chancellor at that spot. Bryson Edwards back there behind Mickens, the quarterback, and we've got a whistle and stoppage.
That's going to be 5 yards against Chancellor. They moved, 51. He's not a receiver. He can't just get up and set like he's a receiver making a shift. He's lifting himself up, flag.
Number 51 for Chancellor is Jaden Schottel.
Yep, he lifted up. I mean, he lifted up from his stance, and you can't do that because he's not a receiver.
That'll push it back to the 17, make it 1st and 15. 6:34 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 9-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones. All right, here's Mickens. Edwards behind him. Edwards will block. Mickens will throw. Looking into the end zone. This one, the receiver goes up, catches it. It is Michael Matthews Canty, and he comes up with the catch in front of Jazian Spencer, and the Chargers are on the scoreboard. Touchdown Chancellor with 6:27 to play in the 3rd quarter, makes it a 9-6 ball game.
And Mark, that was just chuck it up and see who can get it, and that's what happened there at Chancellor. I thought he might have been out of bounds, but you only need 1 foot down in high school or college, and that's exactly what the officials called. They had possession, came down with a foot in bounds. Touchdown, good play by Chancellor.
Yeah, he really timed
Set
that
up
jump.
a costly penalty.
Right, timed the jump well. All right, the holder, Bryson Edwards, and the kicker, Aiden Buman, the freshman, left footer. Whistle to stop this one before we
Too many men on the field. Legal shift.
So if we go back to how this was set up, Steve, Eastern View had 4th and 2 on its 37. They went to the run. Chancellor, trying to remember the player now, wasn't it? I can't remember who made the defensive play, but got the big stop, turned the ball over on downs to Chancellor, and they started out with excellent field position and capitalized on it. So obviously they're in contention here with this point after. They're a score away from taking the lead. Bad snap. This one's going to be blocked. Bryson Edwards did a good job of bringing that snap into contention to be kicked, but then by the time he could get there, that wall defender is able to block it. We've got an injured Chancellor player.
There's a player on the field.
That doesn't look like a cramp to me. That looks like something more, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's number 51 for Chancellor.
That's Jaden Schottel. What was did you see the call just there? I was looking down.
No, it was. I did not see the call. Well, I mean, it was no good. The field goal was no good.
The point after.
Point after it was no good. So now it's going to be Eastern View's ball on the 20-yard line.
No, they got to kick off.
Oh, they got to kick off. You're right.
Anyway, 6:27 to go here in the 3rd. It was 9-0 at intermission. Eastern View started on the third quarter, but terrible field position at the 8, and they turned it over on downs. Chancellor had good field position and put together a short drive, and they cap it with the touchdown pass. At quarterback Javante Mickens found his receiver Michael Matthews Canty. One-on-one coverage in the end zone. I think that Matthews Canty timed his leap really nicely to bring that one in. And as you said, he only had to get 1 foot into the end zone for the touchdown.
And it was, it was a good pass and it was a good play call. But again, it was set up by a costly penalty by Eastern View and that pass interference. And whether we can debate it with the ref all we want, but they called it, saw it, and then therefore, they give Chancellor credit. They capitalized on that mistake by Eastern View. Now,
well, I think what happened, Steve, there may have been a penalty against Eastern View on the kick. So that means Chancellor will get another shot at it here.
I didn't see the call. Did you see the flag? I didn't see any flag.
I know there was I was looking down when he ruled. It may have been an offsides penalty. Like, in any event, so Chancellor, which missed the first opportunity, second try here by Aiden Buman. Now that previous snap wasn't any good. Let's see if it's better. It is better. Edwards gets it down. and Buman's kick is good. Now it's 9-7 rather than 9-6. All right, with 6:27 to play here in the third. Well, we were talking about tonight's games and next week's games, and we said that Eastern View will make the road trip to Caroline to play the Cavaliers next Friday. And then Culpeper, toughest test of the year beyond Eastern View, in addition to Eastern View, they get King George next week.
Do you get them at home or do they got to go at King George?
I think that's at home. I'll check it again here in just a second. Pull out the schedule and the handy-dandy schedule and see what the Blue Devils are up to next week. They are at King George.
Okay, so.
Yeah. We're home to Caroline tonight King George.
I can tell our audience we're either going to Caroline or we're going to King George. Probably we'll go to King George. That's what I'm calling.
Well, which would you rather do?
King George.
Is Caroline the longest road trip of the season, regular season for us? Yeah. And that is what, Bowling Green? Is that where we go? Yeah.
Well, I mean, and King George isn't super close either, but King George's got that nice football field.
They do.
That stadium.
Yeah, and they're really proud of that for good reason.
Yep.
If you haven't been to King George, it's Route 3 east of Fredericksburg.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly how far down past Fredericksburg
probably
it is.
about 25 miles.
Mm-hmm. It's actually, I think during the day, it'd be a pretty nice drive.
Yep. It is beautiful down there. Potomac River and Dahlgren.
Here's Buman's kick. Keeps it on the ground. This one picked up inside the 15-yard line. Here's a return man, Xavier Terrell. And Terrell gives his team a big boost with a nice return out to the Chancellor 45-yard line. And I think unofficially that is what, about a 35, 40-yard kickoff return?
I thought they was going all the way, Mark, but good, Chancellor came in with some pursuit and were able to pick it up. And, but again, make the tackle. But again, I thought Eastern View, they were gone on that kickoff. But what a good momentum changer. Now, see if Eastern View now can capitalize on that kickoff return.
And I was just going to say, I know it's not imperative that they capitalize, but it certainly would be very helpful if Eastern View could capitalize on a drive here. So Terrell gives them that boost with the kickoff return. Outstanding field position on the Chancellor's side of the midfield. Connor Weeks in motion. He gets the toss. Makes a nice move and a nice cut. It looked like they had a chance to cut him down in the backfield, Steve, and I thought Connor Weeks made a nice move to pick up positive yardage.
He did, and there was a nice little handoff by Hughesby. Just tossed it right in the air. And basically, Weeks made that great stop on a dime, turn, cut back, and picked up some extra yards.
And actually, did quite a bit of running to net 3 yards rather than lose, though. That's a big thing. And now it's 2nd and 7 from the Chancellor 40. Hughesby. Here comes the pressure. Going to throw it. He's got Weeks out there, and then Weeks tackled just shy of the 30 by Chancellor's Nico Heil.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be roughing the passer against Chancellor. Hughesby had long throw the ball. Number 22 for Chancellor decked him. So that's going to be a costly penalty against Chancellor and move the ball 15 yards. That's a personal foul.
Well, and say that penalty was thrown away from the ball, so I didn't see it. Usually, you saw it, so you knew it was a roughing the passer. That's a big penalty. And you said number 22, that's Daewoo Smith.
Right.
And so you're talking about answering Chancellor's score. It looks like the Cyclones are putting themselves in good position to do just that.
And that's what they had to do, Mark. Just that.
And really helped by that roughing the passer call. And now the line of scrimmage is going to be the 18 or 17 here. 15, 16. Let's call it the 17. Caden Hughesby comes to the sidelines moment, or near the sidelines.
The official saying some equipment problem right there. So he has to go off.
I see. He's going to go out light. Let's check the number there, because we've got number 30, Jeremiah Johnson, would come in for a play. If it's an equipment issue, and he has to go to the side, as you were saying. All right, here is Jeremiah Johnson, going to fill in for Hughesby for what we would think would be one play.
Yep.
Here on 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. 5:32 to play, third quarter action. Cyclone Stadium's the place. The matchup, Chancellor and Eastern View. 9-7 our score in favor of Eastern View. Johnson hands it off to Williams. Straight ahead he goes to about the 15-yard line. And I think it's kind of cool. Jeremiah Johnson gets some congratulations from his teammates there. Notably, Darian Cook coming over to congratulate him.
It is. It's a good play because he hadn't been used, and he came in, did his job, and he carried it out well. There was a good snap. No, there was no panic in him. Now we got Hughesby back there, and the man that needs to be there.
It's almost like you can imagine him saying, hey, just don't fumble the ball, and for Hughesby to come back on the field. So that the congratulations well received. Incomplete. Ball thrown just a little bit shy of Darian Cook. We were just mentioning him. It's going to bring up 3rd down here in about 8.
Mark, but that was still a good throw by Hughesby because he saw all the defenders for Chancellor breaking on that ball. If they'd thrown it up a little bit, they could have got an interception. He threw where only the receiver could catch it, but it just ended up a little bit short. But I like the idea of what Hughesby is doing. He's not, throwing it right up high like that. He threw it only where the receiver could catch it.
All right, Hughesby in the gun. On his right, Jaden Williams. Fakes it to Williams. Hughesby's going to keep it, but he can't get away from the grasp of number 23, Anthony Harding. And now you've got a 4th down situation. Are you going to go for it here? And it looks like Hughesby may have a cramp.
Yep, and those cramps are starting. Even though it's cooler tonight, it's still gets warmer during the day. It's warm down that field, and but it's not as humid as it was a couple weeks ago. But
so it looks like Hughesby being attended to for a cramp. Now look at the Eastern View sidelines here. Clock stopped, obviously. 4:35 to play here in the 3rd quarter. We'll tell you that our live sponsor this year is Able Heating and Air. Answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system, there's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. And, of course, this broadcast also brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. That's Found & Sons at 825-3530. As we said, 4:35 to play here in this one. You're looking at the Cyclones cheerleaders, Steve. This is, I want to ask you about, I want you to be the offensive coordinator. After Hughesby gets back to his feet, and he does now, and we look at a 4th and, say, 8 or 9, and the ball is at the 16-yard line. I mean, do you go for it here, or do you line up for a field goal?
Well, if you got a good field goal kicker, and it looks like they're going to have to go for it here, and they're not going to punt it. But, yeah, they're going to look like.
No, actually, Jonathan Bales is on out there. And the holder would be DeMaio Hunter. So he's going to spot it, looks like, at the 23. So this will be a 33-yard field goal attempt by Jonathan Bales. Of course, it all begins with the center. And it looks like that's number 54, Steve. Detrez Gahagan. The holder is DeMaio Hunter. And he can't get it. Bales has to pick it up. And he runs for his life, and they smother him back there for a huge loss. Well, there goes that opportunity.
Yep, it was. It's a bad snap, and it missed the. I don't know if it was a snap or did the holder drop it.
From my vantage point, I thought that Hunter had difficulty getting a handle on it. I don't think the snap was that bad, but I could be mistaken. We don't have the benefit of instant replay on that.
I mean, Eastern View's been the gift keeps on giving for Chancellor. I mean, they've been dominating the whole game, but they're only up 9-7. And like I said, Chancellor is a field goal away from going ahead or a touchdown, and it's still 4:20 here in the 3rd quarter.
A lot of football to play. Ball up 26. Mickens, the quarterback, quick throw near side. He's got his receiver, and a nice hit made by Clatterball on the recipient. That was Freddie Shaw, who we've mentioned tonight as a punter, his first catch of the night as a wide receiver.
And that just showed you what kind of stud linebacker Clatterball is.
Brett Clatterball. I heard about a hit he made last week. It was just, no, not last week because they didn't play against Stafford. It was just like picture-perfect form. Edwards, the ball carrier, slips the first tackler. Straight ahead he goes out to about the 40-yard line, and that will be enough for a Chancellor first down. And Steve, you pointed out, of course, that Chancellor's only a field goal away from taking the lead in this game. some missed opportunities by Eastern View, and I've really, as you mentioned, they've really been bit by that penalty bug tonight.
They sure have, and that's just, just have stopped their drives and stopped their momentum.
And we're going to have another 5-yard penalty coming up.
Yep.
Number 51 jumping there for Eastern View, Corey Long. And the Cyclones know it. They're already backing up 5 yards. We'll mark this one off. And that'll make the line of scrimmage the 46. It'll be 1st and 5.
We got number 32 in defense, so we haven't said his name, Landon Taylor. He's in there on the D, one of the outside linebackers, or on one of the DBs.
Javante Mickens, your quarterback. Edwards behind him. Throws to the receiver, Quan Johnson. Quan Johnson reverses his direction. He got away from Clatterball. Got away from a couple more. He's in the open field as Corey Long gives chase. And finally, Quan Johnson is tackled by Clatterball as he had to make up some ground after missing that first time. And Clatterball combined with Corey Long for the tackle. What a pickup that time by Quan Johnson.
That was one hell of a run right there by Quan Johnson. I mean, he looked like he was stopped in the backfield, shook off tackle, but again, poor tackling on Eastern View.
Unofficially 38 yards on the pass reception. It was a short pass, and he reversed direction, and then he just started making the most of it. He got away from, like you said, a couple of defenders that weren't able to wrap him up. Clatterball and Long eventually caught up with him after their initial misses, but not before Quan Johnson had done his damage. And now the Chargers have it 1st and goal here from the 8-yard line with 2:45 to play in the 3rd quarter. Looking for that go-ahead score. Javante Mickens, a couple of backs behind him, and Edwards gets the call. And he runs into Clatterball and company.
Yep.
Edwards, nice game last week, 22 carries, 92 yards against Riverbend, but the going's been tough for the Chancellor running backs because the Eastern View defense, I think, is playing the run quite well.
They are, Mark, and that was by 44. Keegan Brown made that initial hit and stop.
And now Anthony Lewis in the backfield. They fake it to Edwards. Mickens keeps it. He's in the end zone from 7 yards out. Touchdown Chancellor, and the Chargers have their first lead of the night. It is 13-9 with 2:03 to play.
And Mark, that was excellent ball deception by the quarterback for Chancellor. He looked like he was going to hand off to his number 1 running back, number 2, who was Bryson Edwards, but he kept it, pulled it out the last second, and it ran right up the middle with the hole opened up. And now Chancellor Chargers are now going on for the point after to try to make it 14-9.
Bryson Edwards, the holder. Aiden Buman, your freshman kicker. The snap, the hold, the kick. Kick is up and good. 14-9 our score in favor of Chancellor with 2:03 to play. Are you looking at another penalty flag?
Another penalty on the flag. I think this might against Chancellor for taunting. Let's see what the call is. And so that would be enforced on the kickoff.
Right. Man in the white hat, always there to tell us all about it.
But
Here
again,
comes the call. Dead ball foul. Personal foul. That's against Eastern View, Steve.
Whoa.
Well, that would mean that they would.
Chancellor.
Were they going to kick from the 45 of Eastern View?
Yep.
That's how that works?
Yep.
Well, I think the team, Cyclones, and the fans here ought to be a little stunned at this point.
Mark, I think they are because, and I think Eastern View was kind of getting a little bit too complacent, thinking, oh, we're moving up and down the field. Well, they should be up 3 touchdowns. But because of penalties and ill-timed penalties, has really hurt them in this game. So right now, it's, we're going to see what happens. Coach Brian Lowry's still arguing with the official on that play, but he's not getting anywhere. So you never usually do with the Zebras.
Well, on the last kickoff by Chancellor, our return guy for Eastern View, was it, I don't think his name.
Terrell?
Was it Terrell?
Yep.
He had that nice return out to Xavier Terrell.
Yep.
He had that nice return out to the Chancellor 45 to set them up, but unable to capitalize. And now, speaking of the 45, Chancellor will actually be kicking off from the Eastern View 45. The chance for Buman to put it into the end zone for the touchback. Let's see how this one plays out.
You know, let's see if he just wants to drop it in there and trust his his kickoff partners and tackle him. Eastern View's got to start it real deep in their own territory.
Here's Buman's kick. And we got an offsides, it looks like, probably against Chancellor. If that's the case, they're going to kick it over this time from midfield. So I guess Eastern View really could get a return out of this because I was looking at Buman's kick. It didn't make its way to the end zone.
Yeah, if it didn't, you know, if he's starting the end zone, it would have been dead right there. Even the call, you can't run it out of the end zone in high school.
So now Buman will tee it up at the 50. And I believe we've got DeMaio Hunter back there as one return man. And trying to pick up the other number there for Eastern View's other return man. Trying to get it here when we can. But 14-9 Chancellor, 2:03 to play. Buman's kick. This one's going to go take the return man, DeMaio Hunter's momentum into the end zone and the automatic touchback. So Hunter would love an opportunity to return it.
Yeah,
once your foot hits that end zone, you're not going anywhere.
Exactly. He'd like to replicate what his brother did quite a few times for Eastern View.
Diego?
Diego.
Really, he was, you know, one of the adjectives we could use would be electrifying, wouldn't you?
He was. He's doing a good job. He's, you know, playing for Towson, and he's involved pretty much with their offense and kickoff. And he's a return man, so he's done quite well.
He was just one of those players that you knew when he touched the ball that
something was going to happen.
Big things were going to happen. Yeah, always that possibility. All right, so Eastern View with the touchback back on offense from the 20. And they now trail by 5 points to the Chancellor Chargers. We've got to be feeling pretty good about their prospects right about now.
They do, Mark. I mean, basically they got Eastern View. Like, they took the crowd out of it. They've taken, you know, a look. I see the sideline. I know there's a look of concern. And they just got to figure out, hey, we can move against this team. We're just killing our own selves, shooting ourselves in the foot.
Of course, they have 14 minutes.
Yep.
You got 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and
this
you got
plenty.
the whole fourth quarter. A lot can happen, but surprised that Chancellor was able to take that lead on them. This is the receiver out there, not Connor Weeks. That was number 8, Jordan Colbert. He's the fellow who made that tremendous catch in that first half.
Sports Center highlight catch.
Yeah.
But right now, Mark, I'm seeing Chancellor is very motivated right now. They got the momentum. They're now flying to the football. They weren't doing that in the first half, and now they're doing it. Now with the lead, they're looking like they want to pin their ears back and go after Hughesby. See what happens here.
And did we mention Hunter Kurtz on that offensive line?
No, we did not.
56. Okay, he's picked up his number. Here is 2nd and 11. Williams alongside Hughesby. Here's a fumble on the play. This is picked up, ill-advised, and now Hughesby is in the end zone, and the ball is loose. And let's see if it's a safety. It is, because Hughesby was able to hold on to it, but the lineman there tried to pick it up, and he should have pounced on it.
He
Steve.
should. Yep. He tried to be a hero.
It was not. It was, and it wasn't Williams. It was Daryl Washington, the ball carrier. Took a big hit. Ball was loose. Then we had an Eastern View lineman try to pick it up. He fumbled it. And then with the momentum, Hughesby found himself in the end zone. He was able to pounce on it, and instead of getting up the touchdown, they were thankful to only give up the 2-point safety. So now it's 16-9. Each team has a safety, and we've got an injured Chancellor player down on the play as well.
He was on the bottom of the pile, and it looked like Hughesby was a little slow getting up as well. But again, Mark, turnover.
Right.
They should have just pounced on it and, you know, live to die another day, so to speak. But now.
That was a tremendous hit by the defender to jar that ball loose. Daryl Washington, rather, never really had a shot, because as soon as the handoff, he took the helmet right on that football, jarred it loose. But I think, again, the mental mistake, was not to pounce on the ball, to try to pick it up, and that ends up hurting the Cyclones.
Well, yeah, I mean, he tried to pick it up, and, you know, and generally back in my day, our old coaches would say linemen aren't meant to handle the football. And so I think you just proved that point right there.
Well, I think they're probably better equipped to pounce on it.
Yeah, not to pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
No.
But, you know, with the safety, it's a 16-9 game. You're talking about a touchdown and a point away from tying it if you're Eastern View.
Right.
Although they will be kicking, there'll be a free kick to Chancellor, giving the ball back once we return to action. And while we have this break, let me tell you this broadcast is brought to you in part by Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community at 547-3673. And we've got 1:08 remaining here in this third quarter. This is a good time to take a break. We'll come back when the action resumes. Keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, 547-3673. Cash Imprints, 317-1473. The Copperfish and Time Market, 825-1011. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Welcome back to our broadcast, and as you tune in here, you're seeing the injured player taken off by way of stretcher. Steve, this is the Chancellor player injured, we think identified as Anthony Harding, and word was from up top may have suffered a pinched nerve to the upper back. If it is Anthony Harding, wears jersey number 23, and he has been, I'm not sure how the injury exactly happened, but if I'm not mistaken, he may have been the person, the defender, who made the big hit to force that fumble.
Yep, and then plus he was going after the ball in the end zone to try to fall and get a touchdown for them, and then he got hit in the bottom of the pile. Ball squirted out at the end of the end zone, so our prayers and thoughts go out to him, and hopefully I'm hoping it just is a pinched nerve and nothing more serious, because that would be very, very bad.
And as far as the game, the impact of the game is that the Cyclones fumbled, and the ball eventually found its way into the end zone, where Eastern View quarterback Caden Hughesby was able to pounce on it, give up a safety rather than it being loose, and Chancellor pouncing on it for a touchdown, which gets us up to date with our score 16-9 and 1:08 remaining in the third. And when we resume action, we would have Eastern View with the free kick to Chancellor following that safety.
Well, John Krawchuk, our station manager and producer, just texted me down. It was a no contact hit. So he's moving his fingers and his arms. That's a good sign right there.
Definitely a good sign. And, you know, you always hope for the best if something like that happens. We were talking about some of the, some accidents are just, they're sort of freakish in nature, and some are the result of maybe breaking the rules of engagement.
Yep, you're right. And so now that's a safety. The Eastern View now trails 16-9. Now there's better be a sense of urgency. We only got 1:08 left here in the third quarter. And, you know, right now teams are kind of getting a little bit warm up because this play was stopped for about 20 minutes. And so now the officials will be getting them back here together here in a minute. But now Eastern View's got to really buckle down and see if they can get back up in a touchdown extra point ties. A touchdown 2-point gives them a 1-point lead. And, you know, they're going to have some sense of urgency, Mark, because eventually the clock's going to become their enemy.
Well, let's back up and see how things have played out, because remember, at the intermission, our score was Eastern View 9, Chancellor nothing.
Right.
And now we're in the third quarter. We only have a minute plus to play in this third, and really with the score 16-9, that means that Chancellor has scored 16 unanswered points. Can you summarize in a few words how Chancellor was able to do that and how Eastern View allowed that to happen.
Well, the two words, gift on giving. And that was Eastern View. They gave him some gifts, and as far as penalties or turnover, that's what's happened. And Chancellor has capitalized on it. And now Chancellor, I think, has seized the momentum. Now with play being stopped for 20 minutes, is that going to now shift the momentum maybe back to Eastern View? We'll see how that goes. But right now, see, Eastern View, Chancellor gets the ball back.
Right.
And Eastern View's got to kick it, punt it away for the safety. And so now Chancellor, what they're going to try to do is they're going to go into defense mode. In other words, they're going to just try to run the football, use that clock, and make the clock their friend and make it work against Eastern View. Now, we got to check the timeouts for Eastern View. I think they've got they might have two left. I think they took one so this half. So they got 2 timeouts I know of. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But also want to update our audience that Culpeper's leading Caroline 15-0 over at Broman Field.
And Caroline would be Eastern View's opponent next week, and Culpeper after tonight's game against Caroline. Now, if they win that, that's 3 in a row for them, right?
Yep, correct.
Right. And this was a part of the schedule that they probably should win and almost have to win.
Right.
But then next week they would go down to King George and play, and that's going to be a tough game. King George is going to be tough for both of these teams, Eastern View and Culpeper. But if you're Eastern View, you're not anywhere near anything like that.
No.
Why? Because you've got a team, Chancellor, right now, the 7-point lead. And it's almost as if, still a lot of football to play, but
Right.
Eastern View had them in their grasp, and it's sort of like they just sort of let them ease out of their control.
Yeah, Coach Landry's telling them right now. I said, look, guys, let's go back and play some hard-nosed football. And the thing is, Culpeper, by winning, they'll beat Caroline. They can go down to King George. Now, King George is a team that's not unbeatable, but the thing is they've got a dual-threat quarterback they didn't have in the spring, and that Rivello played tight end for them in the spring. He's now one of their leading ball carriers. And Joey Rivello, I think his name, or Kyle Rivello.
I think it's Kyle Rivello.
Well, he's now running the ball along with another guy named Gabe Ailey that we didn't see in the spring.
But what do you know about Gabe?
Good player, fast, speed. The thing is that distinguished King George offense is they got those 2 6'4" receivers, and they're both getting D1 looks. They've got already Chance Wiggins has already been offered by, at least 10 D1 schools because you can't teach height. It's 6'4" and the speed. So it's going to have to be Culpeper's going to play sound defensively. Can Culpeper beat them? Yes. If Culpeper can do a grinded out offense with Terrell, the running back. But right now, Chancellor is giving everything Eastern View can handle. Now Eastern View has got to get on. They've got to right the ship, quit making stupid penalties, and just try to get the ball back here. Don't let Chancellor have the big play. And they let them loose on that big play, especially that pass interference. That's what started all this momentum right here for our Chancellor right now in the third quarter.
Well, Jonathan Bales has teed it up. He'll be kicking off on this free kick following the safety. A couple of deep men back for Chancellor include Bryson Edwards. Let's see what Bales can do for his team here. Right straight down the middle and a whistle to stop play.
Another offsides. These officials.
Well, it's a legal procedure against Eastern View, which pushes them back 5 yards.
Yeah, well, I know why they're kicking off, because they don't have a punter that can punt it that far. So now another mistake, and this, I think, Mark, too, is this mean because it's only the second game they've played, right? Eastern View? Third, okay, third.
Because they had Culpeper in the Cannonball Classic,
right?
And they beat Stafford in come from behind fashion here, but they didn't get the game against Liberty, and they didn't get the game last week against Brook Point. So they would have had 4 games.
So who's their third one?
Well, this is the third.
Right, okay.
Because they're 2-0.
Right.
Right. All right, so here's Bales' kick. This is going to be fielded fair catch called for and made. That's
26.
Yeah, that's Farmer, right? I mean, Freddie Shaw.
Freddie Shaw.
Who punts for the team, and he's also fields on the special teams. And I think he had didn't he catch a pass earlier in the quarter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, minute 7 to play here in the third. Excellent field position for Chancellor. They start on the Eastern View side of midfield at the Eastern View 47.
We got the linebackers starting out. We got Clatterball. We've also got Keegan Brown and number 24, Jaden Williams.
All right, here is Mickens, the quarterback, and the pitch to Bryson Edwards. And Edwards turns upfield and gets to the Eastern View. Ball is loose. Let's see if it's a fumble. It is. Somebody forced it, and whoever forced it, it turns out that Jaden Williams was the man who makes the recovery. And you were just talking about, Steve, how important it was for Eastern View to force a turnover.
Yep, and they did. Now, see if they can capitalize on that turnover. 57 seconds to go here in the third quarter.
Now they ring the bell. Jaden Williams gets the honors. Big break here for Eastern View. Back on offense go the Cyclones, and they'll have it at their own 45.
And where they miss Hardings on defense, Mark, that he was one of their defensive leaders.
Definitely.
Anthony Harding, so they miss him.
He made a couple of big hits tonight for the Chargers, and he is the player we mentioned injured and taken off by a stretcher. This is Washington, number 15. Washington picked up a couple hard yards. Tackled pretty hard out there as well. Clock running, 45 seconds to play in the third quarter. 16-9, Chancellor on top. And I was saying that at the intermission it was 9-0 Eastern View after a fairly dominant first quarter.
Right.
I mean, first half rather, Stephen. You mentioned that they really could have been up by more points.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the very untimely penalties really hurt the Cyclones. All right, 20 seconds and counting here in the third. This could be the last play of the third as Hughesby has some protection, throws downfield. He's got a receiver, I believe that may be Clatterball, and it is.
It is.
Yep, out to the Chancellor near the 40-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down.
And he came in from our at the tight end position, or H-back. He came right in there and caught it, and he was wide open, Mark.
Well, they're going to start the clock after they set it, so they may not have another play here before this third quarter expires, the final 5 seconds ticking off. And it's official. Third quarter in the books at Cyclone Stadium. It's Chancellor 16, Eastern View 9. We'll take a break, come back for the fourth quarter right after this.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.
Welcome back to our broadcast. The start of the fourth quarter. Eastern View on offense. Hughesby got a receiver out there in the flat. It is number 45, Branson James. Close to another Cyclone first down.
And Mark, that just shows the athleticism of Hughesby right there. Had the defender, number 15, draped all over his legs and trying to knock him down. He still threw it and completed the pass for an 8-yard gain.
Right.
That was a good athletic play right there by Hughesby.
Sure was. Brings up 2nd and 2. Opening minute here this fourth quarter. Again, Eastern View led at the half 9-0. Chancellor has scored 16 unanswered second half points, but the Cyclones here on a drive. And the running back Williams tackled nicely by Chancellor's Nico Heil. No gain on the play.
And Mark, there's something that Chancellor is exploiting there against our offense because those guys are in so quick on our backfield and they're jumping right between their offensive line. And what I think to stop that, what you would do is make your offensive linemen cut down on their splits, get more closer together, and you would stop that shooting the gap like they've been doing and getting in the backfield and disrupting the offense for Eastern View.
Yeah, which resulted in a 1-yard loss in that last play. It brings up 3rd and 3 now from the 34. Huseby hands off Williams. Williams makes a break and then drives, and then is able to drag a tackler. That's number 6, Mackay Conley. That'll move the sticks. Nice run that time by Williams to give the Cyclones a first down.
And Mark, that was a good run because see they've cut down their split, so they're going to take away that shooting the gap by those quick down linemen for Chancellor.
Caden Huseby thinks about going under center. He backpedals into that shotgun formation with Jayden Williams on his left. He's got one receiver to the right, not counting Clatterball at that tight end position. Clatterball in motion now to block. Straight ahead goes Williams. They're trying to strip it from him unsuccessfully. It looked like Edwards was trying to strip it for or make that.
Bryson Edwards, tackler.
Yeah, Bryson Edwards. Well, they weren't able to strip it, but Williams holds on and looks like he picked up a couple. We'll mark it at the 19-yard line.
And Mark, when you ever look on Chancellor's defense line, look at a little 25. Wherever he goes, you know he's coming in the gap right there. There he goes.
Washington gets the call. Makes a hurdle over that line. Gets down to, I believe, about the 10-yard line.
He did. He turtled right over. Got to be careful of that, though. Officials calling that.
And I was thinking the same thing. They're not going to let you do too much of that leaping over. All right, the ball is at the 10. That makes it 1st and goal from that spot. All right, they go back to Washington. Washington straight ahead, down to just shy of that 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from there.
Bryson Edwards.
And it looks like we're going to have a timeout called by Chancellor. All right. Well, we've told you that, this year we're live, and we've got a live sponsor, a company by the name of Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. Other broadcast brought to you also in part by Cash Imprints, from shirts to banners and everything in between. Imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints at 317-1473. 9:15 to play, Steve, here in the 4th, and 16-9 Chancellor, 16 unanswered points here in this second half, but Eastern View now on the drive, and really as long as you hold on to the football, you got to figure they're going to come away with something.
Yeah, they got to, Mark, and they're just hold on to the football, run right up between your best linemen, and wait for the hole to develop. But they're doing a good thing. They're cutting down their splits because they're going to eliminate that little guy linebacker trying to charge in there between them and disrupt the plays.
So the Cyclones now have it after the timeout, 2nd and goal from the 6. Huseby's back there in the gun. On his right flank is Williams.
And it looks like a guy went down with a cramp. He was trying to run off, and he slipped, and his legs are cramping.
Well, we've had a few of those tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, this has been a long ball game because of the cramps.
That and, of course, the unfortunate injury to Chancellor's Anthony Harding, who was playing a pretty good football game before that unfortunate accident.
And the thing is you can do to stop that, too, is players need to be well hydrated before they even come out into play. And, again, it's not a real hot night. It's actually kind of cool. But, when you're running around like that, cramps can happen. And exactly as what happened there to number 11.
Anthony Lewis.
Yep.
Cramp City, 9:15 to play.
And they hurt. Cramps hurt. I do tell you that.
Well, whether you're getting one on the football field or elsewhere they hurt, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever woke up at night with one? I mean, when it wakes you up, it is painful.
And you're trying to stand up on it.
I know
you stub your toe in the bed.
Yeah, tempting to laugh now, but when it happens, it hurts. All right, 2nd and goal now from the 6-yard line. Huseby Hands off Williams. Williams, second effort, pulls his way into the end zone from 6 yards out.
Shut the front door, lock the windows. It is a Cyclone touchdown.
6 yards. And Jaden Williams, determined effort. He had his eyes set on that end zone and didn't look like he was going to be denied.
No, he didn't. He carried a lot of people with him right on his back, waiting for the touchdown now.
16-15 and a point after away from tying this football game is Jonathan Bales. And, of course, the holder is DeMaio Hunter. So here's the hold. Bales' kick is up.
Right down the middle.
And we're tied up, 16 all, with 9:06 to play. Well, did you think we would be here at this juncture?
Well, no. I mean, because Wade, Eastern View was playing in the first half.
Right.
We were moving up and down the field, but then we just shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties. But now that was a good play, good offensive series right there to get the after that safety against Eastern View, had that safety against them. But they came back, stopped Chancellor, and they got the ball back and made them, hit pay dirt with it. So now 16-16. There's still plenty of time to go in the ball game. 9 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the ball game. But now you want your defense. You're calling on them. Get them in another 3 and out. Force 3 and out, and come after and give our offense another chance to put on some points.
Sounds good. Well, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Found & Sons, which is more than a respected funeral home. They support youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. That's Found & Sons at 825-3530. 9:06 to play. With the touchdown and the point after, 16-16, 9:06. And here we are at Cyclone Stadium. Cyclones 2-0 in the season. Chancellor 0-1. Of course, Eastern View trying to keep pace with King George, which is also 2-0. And Tulpa replace King George next week, while Eastern View makes that trip down to Bowling Green of Caroline County. Short kick taken inside the 35-yard line, then hog-tied down to 35, and that typically draws a penalty flag.
2 of them, they're coming down saying he horse collared.
Right.
That's going to be 15-yard. Coach Lombardi's going crazy.
I think he's telling his players to push back. I think the stat that's going to be a little cause some dismay tomorrow may be when you read the penalties and the yardage.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, it won't be until Sunday's paper. Culpeper doesn't have Saturday's paper. So.
Horse collar. You called it.
Yeah. So
I'm going to mark it off, and so Chancellor will have a short
yards.
field to work with.
Yep. They can get a 15-yard from the spot. So we'll see what what happened. They're
So as they mark this one off, it's going to be shy of midfield, I believe.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done. The official just fumbled.
Yeah, that's Charles Gray, I think.
There he goes. And it's right at midfield. That's where Chancellor will set up once more on offense. Now, with a tied ball game, and of course the quarterback is Javante Mickens, and they've had Bryson Edwards predominantly in that backfield. They go with a different player right now. Edwards to the sidelines, or unless he's the tailback. He is the tailback. There he goes. Edwards, they fake it to him. Mickens keeps it, going nowhere. Tackled for a loss. Big play made by number 51, Steve, Corey Long. And that's the sort of play you make on defense to give your team a lift.
Exactly, and he was in right there, and he was wondering when we were going to hear from him. And because he's a big-time player for Eastern View last year and now this year, and he got right in on that backfield. He knew what was coming.
Right, loss of 5 on the play brings up 2nd and 15. 8:30 to play here in the 4th. Mickens, Bryson Edwards behind him. They throw it, got a receiver near side, and it is Michael Matthews Canty on the receiver. He's got the one of the touchdowns tonight for Chancellor. And he gets in Eastern View territory at the 45. He's going to be a couple yards shy of a first down.
He's a big target too, Mark.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm surprised they haven't gone to him, more than what they have.
3rd down and 3 for the Chargers. As Mickens, couple backs along in the backfield with him, the deepest of which is Bryson Edwards. Edwards gets the call. Straight ahead he goes, and he will have a first down. Got inside that 40 down to about the 38. Pickup of 7 yards for Edwards and a first down for Chancellor.
Jeez. There's a lot of commotion going on here in the press box, and it was a false start, but the refs didn't call it. But
there was, I thought there might have been that.
Yeah.
A little surprised, but in any event, they moved the sticks, reset it, 1st and 10. Chancellor at Eastern View's 38-yard line. 7:20 to play here in this 4th quarter. We're tied up 16 all. Mickens, your quarterback. Bryson Edwards behind him. Mickens comes this way. Picks up a block. And some pretty good footwork along the near sidelines. And they're going to mark him out at about shy of the 25. Looks like he's going to mark it at the 28, so he picked up 10 yards and another Chancellor first down.
And that was all Mickens. He didn't see he was going to throw it, but it didn't have anybody open, so he took off running because he saw the gap right there. Now, like I said, Eastern View's got a little bit knocked back on their heels by Chancellor.
Well, remember, this possession started at midfield, so
Right.
Chancellor already from the get-go with a short field to work with, and now they've got picked up a couple first downs, and they have it at the Eastern View 28. They go back to Edwards. He's hit hard, and that was making the tackle for Eastern View, number 7, Joshua Perez.
That was a good hit right there. And
27, only picked up a yard, 2nd and 9.
right now the defense is looking, they want a turnover. They don't want Chancellor eating up most of this clock, especially down on their end.
This is where you have to have a good defensive stance here in this sequence and not give up any more first downs. Otherwise, they're, like you say, they're using that clock and putting themselves in a position for the go-ahead score, which could be a game winner depending on how it plays out. Mickens' pass caught, going nowhere, was Quan Johnson, because the Cyclones were all over that one.
That was a good wrap-up, good play by the secondary of Eastern View.
And now,
I think number 5 was in on the stop, wasn't he? It was Darian Cook out there.
yeah, Clatterball and some others. The receiver really drew a crowd quickly. 25, 30, ball at the 29. So he actually lost some yards. Brings up 3rd and 10 now. Big 3rd down for both teams. With Mickens, the signal caller, he's got Bryson Edwards behind him. And they go to the pass, near side. And then this is Matthews Canty broke the first tackle, but not after that, because, again, the Cyclones just swarmed to that football, Steve, and he gained nothing, maybe lost a little bit of yardage. And, back to the 31, he lost 2. Now it's going to bring up 4th and about 13. And, what do you do here if you're Chancellor?
He was flying to the football, Mark.
You don't punt it here, do you?
No.
But you're not in a position for a field goal either, so you're going to, you got to have your play on 4th down.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to punt it inside the 10-yard line. So now you just hope that the defense can step up and not let them convert.
Right, don't give up a big play. Mickens, we got whistle and we got stoppage.
The flag right there. It's going to be offsides, Chancellor.
Well, Steve, is that our first penalty flag of the game?
You hope. First of the 4th quarter.
Yeah, we've had a bunch. That's for sure.
No, it's been the second one. The 4th quarter hit the horse collar, or I call it the hog tie.
Yeah,
hog collar.
And the official rule is a horse collar, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hold up here? Who called timeout?
I think Eastern View may have called the timeout. Wanted to tell you this broadcast brought to you in part by Copperfish and Time Market. You know, from wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between. You'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. And, of course, Battlefield Automotive, which features Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community at 547-3673. 4:40 to play in this one. Big fourth down call for Chancellor coming up here.
Yep.
Because, you know, you got to have a big play. So if you're the defense, you don't give up a big play, obviously. You get the ball back, plenty of time. 4:40 to go. And
there's only 1 second on the game, not the game, the play clock, but that's going to be reset. They call time.
all right. So opportunity here for the Eastern View defense to come up with the stop and give their offensive teammates the ball back with pretty decent field position, depending on how this one plays out. Mickens, he's going to throw long. He's going to throw out of bounds because the coverage was there. They had double coverage that time on Michael Matthews Canty. So the Eastern View defense dialed it up right, Steve.
That was pretty easy to defense, too, because the quarterback just kept looking there. He didn't even look to his left. And, you know, Eastern View's smart enough to realize, Canty's the one they've been going to all night long. Let's double team him.
So on the turnover on downs, Eastern View will go back on offense with pretty good field position at its own 36.
Well, the game score's tied. We got 4:18 to see what Eastern View can do.
So they could conceivably put together a game-winning drive here.
Yep.
Hughesby goes back to work. This one was up in the air for so long, I was afraid the receiver may not get it in time. He took a pretty good hit. That was Colbert, wasn't it? Yeah, Jordan Colbert.
He did take a big hit.
Defensive back came up. I just thought that pass probably needed a little bit more zip on it because the defensive back had plenty of time to come up and just leveled Colbert. And now he's being attended to.
I hope he's not seriously hurt, Mark. He was very vulnerable in that air like that, but that was no malice on the Chancellor defender.
No.
He made a clean hit. It was legal play.
Right, looked clean for sure. All right. You were mentioning 51, Jaden Schottle a minute ago. And then the replacement for Anthony Harding was going to be key because Harding is the player who was carried off by a stretcher, and he had played well for Chancellor tonight. He had forced a fumble, maybe 2 fumbles, and just really a hard-nosed player. So your Eastern View player who was shaken up was Colbert, Jordan Colbert. Now he's on his feet and appears to be okay. Picked up 5 yards on the reception, and 2nd and 5 coming up for Eastern View.
They hit him on his head, and he said, "Oh, it hurts."
It was already, he might have been woozy enough already.
Right, he just said, "Oh." I saw him, either laying on his back of his head or his hip. But when Hughesby went to give him a pat in the head, he goes, "Ugh." So, but he's a big play receiver for Eastern View. Now he's out. Now, who's going to be a player that's got to step up right now here, Mark?
Well, do you get Clatterball into the offensive mix?
I would. I'd get it in the hands of your best athlete. And if it's Clatterball, so be it.
Clatterball is in there. Darian Cook goes wide to the right. Connor Weeks this side in the slot. We go back to Williams. The ball carrier straight ahead. And why not? Offensive line gave him a crease, and then he just powered his way to midfield, a pickup of 9 yards and a Cyclone first down.
That's a power running right there, Mark, by Jaden, who was 24, Williams.
Right, Jaden Williams. He's shared time in the backfield tonight with Darrell Washington. And, of course, we mentioned that Rack Lawson not suited up for tonight's game. And here on 1st and 10 from midfield, they stick to the run. Jaden Williams, the ball carrier again. This time off left tackle. They went right the last time. That worked. They go left this time, and that works. And you're picking up 10 yards a pop. He picks up another first down, got down to the 38. 12 yards on the run by Williams.
And, Mark, it's just good, hot, solid football. Run right, run left, right off tackle. And Williams looks like he's got an extra gear. And good kudos to the offensive line, the good boys up front, to plowing away and opening the holes for Williams.
Yep, Caleb Quinn up there at that right guard position. Here's 1st and 10 Cyclones from the 28. Williams again, the ball carrier. They're going to try to strip it, but he's going to hold on tight. Got inside the 35, down to the 33. 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 5 coming up. Clock continues to run. Approaching that 3-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. And again, we're tied up 16 all. This could very well be the go-ahead, the drive for the go-ahead score for Eastern View if they can continue to hold on to that football.
Mark, well, I was getting ready to say, what about a nice play call where play action and throw the pass? Because, you know, Claddaugh or somebody, because look how many people Chancellor stacking the box. And they're thinking run all night long.
All right, here it is. They go back to Williams, tries the right side this time. Not as much on this carry. He did get to the 30.
Yep.
He picked up 3. It's going to bring up 3rd and short, probably about 3rd and a yard, and it is.
Yep, about 3rd. You're right, about 3rd and about just a long yard. But again, you know, you've got Chancellor really stacking up everybody in that box, and you can send 2 out wide. They'll draw off those defensive backs, and then you could do a screen or, you know, just a little wheel route for Claddaugh. It would be wide open.
Darius White just checked in. They fake it to Williams. Here's Hughesby. Hughesby lowers his shoulder, gets to the 25, and he will have a Cyclone 1st down.
Good play, good run. You know, didn't like how Hughesby went down. He kind of ducked his head a little bit.
Right.
You know, showed his head. You dive first and just dive onto the ground. Don't come in with your head up like this. That's where you can get nailed.
Well, they pick up another set of downs here.
Yep.
And the clock continues to run. 1:35 in the 4th. 16 all our score. Eastern View driving. Now from the Chancellor 25. Williams remains the tailback. He gets the call. Straight ahead he goes. Down to the 20. Another 5-yard pickup. And again, not only are they getting positive yardage, but they're using that clock in what may be the game-scoring,
Is it timeout Eastern View or
drive.
timeout Chancellor? Timeout Eastern View.
So Eastern View calls the timeout. And we'll tell you that, we're live. Our live sponsor is Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. You know, there's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. And we appreciate all our supporters of Cyclones and Blue Devils football here on the Culpeper Media Network. Now, I'm mentioning the Blue Devils, Steve. We said just a few minutes ago they were up 15-0 over visiting Caroline. That score may have changed. I don't know. But speaking of Caroline, that's where Eastern View is going next week, and that's a long road haul.
It's a long way down and a long way back. But, and I don't think Eastern View will have any problems with Caroline, though the Caroline has played them tough in the spring.
They got some business to finish here, don't they?
Yep.
2nd and 5 from the 20. Here's Caden Hughesby looking for some running room. Now going to try to get the outside. Line of scrimmage was 20, and he got down to about the 18.
Yeah, he got. I think it's going to be. It's still going to be third and about 5, or 3rd and 3. What do you think, Mark?
Clock stopped, went out of bounds. Yeah, 3rd and 3. Looks like that from the 18.
If they stop here, do you think you go for field goal?
I don't know. I don't know how much they trust their kicker. We just haven't seen enough of him, you know?
That's what I'm guessing. I'm asking you.
All right. Williams back there. Uh-oh, this one picked off. They were trying to get it to Connor Weeks, and stepping in front of that for the big interception is Tyshawn Wilson. Wow. Talk about taking the wind out of your sails if you're Eastern View. They had a good-looking drive going, and now they've turned it over to Chancellor with 1:07 to play. So I got to ask you, are we doing overtime during the regular season?
It might be, and I think right there, they're lucky that when he intercepted, he went down on the ground because there was nobody to stop him. If he had kept his feet, he would have taken that whole thing back.
And we might be saying touchdown Chancellor at that very moment.
So now Eastern View's dial up in defense and see Chancellor is going to do nothing fancy down here, deep in their own territory. They're going to play for overtime.
Well, actually, I was trying to remember if we use an overtime format in the regular season.
We do.
Okay. It's been so long since we've been in that situation.
Starts from the 10.
All right. Mickens going to throw near side, incomplete. That was Bryson Edwards out of the backfield, unable to hook up with him.
And if I was Eastern View, I'd play man up tight. Don't let the receiver get behind you. And an out pattern like that, you know, you can read it and should be able to jump it because the quarterback was just looking one way. See if we can come up with a big interception here if they're going to want to throw it from here.
Well, you know their primary target has been Michael Matthews Canty, number 5. He's got a touchdown tonight, caught one in the end zone against good coverage. All right, here's Mickens. Here comes the pressure. Mickens, can he get away from it? He reverses direction. He picks up a block. He ends up getting first down yardage on a play that looks like it was going to be busted.
Yep, but it didn't get out. He didn't get out, though, and this clock's still running. Oh, now it's stopped. But I was getting ready to say, that Michael Matthews Canty, the big receiver, he's got at least 6 inches on the defensive back of Eastern View. And that was like number 21.
For Eastern View.
Yeah, Eastern 21 for Eastern View, and that's Jazz and Spencer right there.
Ball now at the 30-yard line,
Jason
first and 10 Chancellor. 51.3 seconds showing on that scoreboard clock as Mickens, 2 receivers to the left and 2 to the right. Here's Mickens. He's going to air it out. Looking for Edwards. He's got him at the 40. Bryson Edwards is going to take it to the house, and I don't see a penalty flag down. And that's with 42 seconds to go, and Chancellor now has the lead at 22-16. Steve, how did you see that play develop?
Mark, I haven't seen that arm all night long with that quarterback, but he just threw out a rope to Bryson Edwards, and he looked it in, and there was, like I said, he got behind the defensive back. I think that even surprised Eastern View.
And it was a one-on-one coverage, and after Edwards hauled it in, there was nobody there in support to come over to try to make the tackle on Edwards.
Nobody, you're right. And now for the important point after, and Chancellor's going to call timeout.
So 22-16 in favor of Chancellor.
Timeout, Chancellor.
42 seconds remaining, and so you figure that Eastern View will have about 40 seconds after this play in the kickoff to try to, and they're going to have a touchdown. I mean,
yeah, they're going to have a touchdown. I mean, they're going to have to get the ball, throw a couple out patterns, and try to get up to midfield, or get the kickoff, try to get to midfield, and so that you give Hughesby a chance for like a Hail Mary or something like that. But this game looked like it was going to have overtime written all over it, but a costly interception by Hughesby gave the ball back to Chancellor with like 1:03 to go, and Chancellor just made him pay. And that was a good play call. And when I saw 2, they weren't, see, Bryson Edwards lined up in the backfield.
Right, came out of the backfield, right. And see, we were just talking about that the primary receiver is Michael Matthews Canty, and the Eastern View was probably honing in on him. And
right.
Bryson Edwards comes out of the backfield, gets open, and once he makes that catch, he was gone.
Yeah, I mean,
point after good, 23-16, 7 points. So, Steve, 42 seconds to be exact. Eastern View has to have a touchdown and a point after to tie this thing.
They do, Mark, and it just looks, I mean, you feel bad for the Cyclones because they've been playing. They basically, statistically, have owned this game. But penalties and miscues have killed them. I mean, and it's now come back to hurt on them. And now they're going to lose a district game. That just puts King George even in further in the driver's seat, really, because Spotsylvania they're okay. James Monroe does a down year. Chancellor looks revamped now. So
and what about Cortland?
Cortland's hasn't won a game. They're 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but now traditionally Cortland had played a heavy schedule on the front end.
They always do. They play those Division VI schools in Stafford, and always do, or even Massaponax in Spotsylvania or Riverbend. They like to play those tough games.
And when you get them at 5 and 4, you're thinking, okay, but you haven't. But you like you say, if you haven't factored in, they had a heavy front end schedule and played the tough competition. it's hard to know just how good they're going to be at your division level.
You're right. And then I was thinking, when Chancellor first came in here, the way Eastview was moving, I said this is going to be going to be over quick. But the mistakes and penalties come back to haunt you, and they've haunted Eastern View in a big way.
And I really think that when the coaches are looking at the stat boxes, they're not going to like what they see in the penalty department.
No,
and then, of course, the turnovers.
Well over 100 yards of penalties.
Here's the kick, taken inside the 20.
Throw the ball.
And did you pick up his number?
No, I can't. Jay, it just kept saying Jay, who it is.
Number 9. Okay, Xavier Terrell.
Yep. Now what? What's this penalty on? See, the officials shouldn't even give. What's this?
So you.
Yeah, it's on against Eastern View. Dead
Dead
ball.
ball,
Personal foul on 32. That's what they're saying. That would be Landon Taylor.
All right, so now they're going to mark up 15 yards.
Yep.
And that means Eastern View
is
going to start out with very poor field position with 37.7 seconds to go the distance, get a touchdown and an extra point to tie this ball game.
Again, the theme of all night, penalties right there. I mean, I know it's got to be approaching almost 150 yards in penalties. And, that just goes, Coach Lauer and your staff got a lot to work on next week.
A real salient feature of tonight's game, Steve, is what you just said, was penalty. All right, here's Hughesby. This one is picked off as well. And this is Quan Johnson. Going to put the exclamation mark on this Chancellor win here tonight with an interception, pick 6, make it 29-16.
Yep.
You got it.
Yep.
Wow.
And that just cemented it right there. And
it really did.
And now Eastern View is that again was all the reason that interception happened again. He used to be locked in on one receiver, and Chancellor picked up on that during the game. That if you get him rattled running with the ball, trying to throw it, he's going to try to lock in on one receiver, and he did. And they just picked him off for another pick 6. So
29-16. On for the point after will be Aiden Buman, the holder. Bryson Edwards. Buman's kick up and good. Our score 30-16 in favor of Chancellor with 30 seconds to play. And I think that sealed the deal. You'd have to have 2 scores in 30 seconds. Now, it's been done before, but the way this game is playing out, I don't see it happening.
No. Yeah. This is going to be a blow to Eastern View's, district hopes because, again, you got King George, who's beating Louisa. They're ahead. They have to make up one game. They're tied with Lafayette. But we got to remind our audience, Culpeper's a Division III team. Eastern View's a Division IV. Now, in the Division III, the problem is with Culpeper's, you got Hopewell. Lafayette is now a Division III. Lake Taylor has dropped down to Division III. And you got all those teams, now dropping out of 4 going down to 3s. And Phoebus is another one. That's going to be, tough road for Culpeper if they were to get to playoffs as a Division III. Division IV, you got King George, you got all the Spotsylvania schools. And again, right now, Eastern View's just got to regroup. And I think it hurt them last week they didn't play. That showed today.
Probably so. Aiden Buman's kick straight ahead. This one fielded at the 10-yard line. This is Terrell again. Bryson Edwards wraps him up for the tackle. Well, I want to just recap quickly how this thing just sort of played out by the numbers. Remember, Eastern View was up at the intermission 9-0, and then Chancellor outscored them 16-0 to go up 6 in the second half, third quarter, made it 16-9. Eastern View did eventually tie it to make it 16-16, but then the turning point came on that Bryson Edwards pass reception and the one-on-one coverage where he beat the defender, went into the end zone. That gave him the go-ahead touchdown, but Eastern View was still in it until that last interception
It
of the
was.
pick six.
Well, that penalty right before that interception, that pick six, that hurt them. They were already in midfield.
Caden Hughesby on the keeper, out to about the 40-yard line. You pick up a first down, but we're down to 16 seconds to play.
Right, and see, they were already, at midfield, and you get a dumb penalty, taunt or whatever, and then all of a sudden, boom, knock them back. Eastern View, Chancellor knows Eastern View's got to throw it, and they made sure they know who the receivers are looking for when they picked it.
Hughesby, hands off. This is Washington. Straight ahead he goes. Might be the final play of the game.
It is.
But, I think it's going to be a mixed bag for Eastern View head coach Brian Lowry when he looks at the film, because he's going to see some good things that Eastern View did, but the inescapable things are going to be the penalties and the turnovers.
And I don't know why he called timeout, but
with 2.6 seconds, Eastern View calls one. But again, for Brian Lowry, I think it's just a mixed bag, that there were some good moments, positive signs, but the penalties and mistakes really was their undoing.
You got to clean up the penalty. I mean, just think, if you're 150 yards least in penalties, if you even cut that to a half at 75, that's still bad. But
Right.
you would have probably been in this game. You would have won it. But no, it was the dumb penalties, the personal fouls, the horse collars, and late hits and stuff like that. And then you got the little offside, the holding calls. And, I mean, we had a big run back call back because of holding.
Right. That's right. Yeah. So this may very well be the last play of the game. 2.6 seconds showing. They send Clatterball wide to the right. 3 receivers to the left. Hughesby, here comes a little bit of pressure, steps away from it, throws over the middle, incomplete, and that's how this game is going to end. And the incomplete pass intended for Connor Weeks. And now the teams congratulate each other. They're going to line up to come across the field. Steve, our final score here, 30-16. We've been summarizing it as we go. Your final thoughts before we call it a night.
Hats off to Chancellor. They scored when it mattered, and they had a lot of gifts because of Eastern View, and the penalties and mistakes cost Eastern View this ball game. So got to regroup and practice next week and get them ready for Caroline, and we'll see.
Well said, Steve, and I enjoyed calling the game with you tonight.
Me too.
Of course, always working with Johnny and Nicole Wooten back in the studios. So once again, our final score at Cyclone Stadium, the Chancellor Chargers 30, Eastern View Cyclones 16. Hope you enjoyed the game. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. So for Johnny, Nicole, and Steve, I'm Mark O'Connell saying thanks for watching and supporting Cyclones football here on the Culpeper Media Network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week, either from Caroline or King George. So long.
This broadcast is brought to you by the following community sponsors.
Able Heating and Air, answering any and all questions you may have about your HVAC system. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556. Battlefield Automotive, featuring Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. From shirts to banners and everything in between, imprint your message on the community with Cash Imprints, 317-1473. From wood-fired pizza to the freshest seafood and a world of taste in between, you'll find it all at Copperfish and Time Market. More than just a respected funeral home, Found & Sons supports youth at all levels so they can become tomorrow's leaders. Found & Sons, 825-3530.